Mayor Bridget Keating,
Present.
Vice Mayor Christy Mosbach,
Here.
President Pro Tem Taylor Materio, Councilmember Gregory Freebold.
Here.
Can we stand for a moment of silence? We have a few that have passed since we've left. Let's remember Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Matire Bowen, who passed on April 1st, 38 years old. Ray Johnson on March 23rd, 86 years old, a former mayor of Holly Hill. And Mark Provincial, resident since 1978 of the Zoning Board of Adjustment, member from 1983 to 2014.
Mayor, may I add one, please?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to remember Margaret Peg Studdard. She was the mother of John Studdard, who was formerly a council member here in the town of Lake Clark Shores, and she lived in our sister city, town of Palm Springs Village, excuse me, and she was 83 years young.
Rest in peace. And may we have Assistant Pastor Jeff Leach come up for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance?
Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you are called to peace, and be thankful. Let's go to the Lord. Lord, we open this meeting by asking for your peace, for you are the source of all peace, and in you we find our peace. You are a God of order and not confusion, and we ask that you would help us to approach this meeting with a spirit of peace and harmony. We pray that any disagreements or conflicts that may arise be resolved peacefully, and help us to communicate with respect and understanding, and always seeking common ground. We also pray for the peace of mind and heart for each person in this meeting, and may we trust in your plans and have faith that you are working all things together for good. In your mighty and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lost my way for a minute there.
Thank you, Pastor Leach. Do we have any public comments? Looks like we have Chris Zambelli.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Chris Zambelli, 7031 Venetian Way.
Yes,
I
sir.
want to discuss the landscaping only being put out on Sundays. I think that's ridiculous law. You should be able to at least put it out by Thursday. I understand land truck companies and stuff having to take it away. But I'm not going to make a pile on one side of my yard, wait till Sunday, now my sprinklers have hit it or Mother Nature's hit it, and carry out a bunch of wet crap. Not happening. I go away during the summer, people go away. I'm semi-retired. If that's how you went out, I'm going to do the work and I'm going to leave it out there. You guys could find me, ticket me, I'm never going to pay them. You have houses like 7012 Venetian Way, all gravel, looks like a parking lot. And you worry about debris on the road. I haven't driven around the lake in a long time. I'm anti-driving around the lake now after the bridge thing. But how many cars were parked on that street and how long it took me to go around, but you're not. Those are emergency roads. They're not supposed to be blocked with vehicles parked on the road. You allowed that. So that's pretty much my big whole thing about it. I'm going to put it out at least on Thursdays. Find me all you want. But I'm not carrying the pile out twice after a big rainstorm, rainy season. Not keep a wet pile, bring it out front. Period.
Understood.
Chris, make sure you
And how
stick
many
around
people-
till council comments tonight.
Yeah. And how many people do I need to get on a petition to change this?
I'm gonna address that this evening, sir.
Yeah. Because I'm not carrying out on Sundays. I'm not getting dirty twice.
Listen, I agree. We tried it. I agree. I understand.
Tim Daughtry.
Tim Daughtry, 1410 Keller Road. Most of these things I brought up in the past, but I'll bring them up again because I haven't been here in a couple months. Sightlines, Forest Hill Boulevard with the trees up there. Under Department of Transportation guidelines, there's such a thing called a sight triangle, okay? And most of those trees up there violate the Department of Transportation's own rules where it comes to sight triangle. They continue not to trim back those two big bushes as I come in, heading west, turning left onto Pine Tree. It's dangerous. It continues to be dangerous. It continues to be dangerous. It continues to be dangerous. And nothing gets done. Okay, and it violates Department of Transportation rules. All you gotta do is look at their website and see that. Mentioned this starting not this past December, but last December. We still don't have GFI protection on all the outlets on the park at the head of the lake. Okay, I've physically checked that last night. Okay, I've asked for that for 16 months. I think that's more than enough time to, get something done that is a pretty standard National Electrical Code rule and has been that rule for, let's see, 20, at least 50 years. Okay. Basic safety rule, and public uses of park. Something needs to be done and something needs to be done now. Okay. I've asked about it, and it still doesn't get done. I missed the meetings last month when we were talking about the police and the call and their contract and getting a raise and everything else. I would like to point out Loxahatchee had a contract which they've since decided to go against, in which they are paying $57,000 a month for full coverage of 13 square miles, 1,500 houses, the same amount of houses we've got, with full coverage from PBSO. $57,000. Okay. Now that contract was negotiated in 2019. So obviously there would be some raises if we decided to go with something other than our own town police force. And I've always loved our own police force, but the time for a small town police force is long since passed, and the PBSO can do it more efficiently and give our existing police force more benefits and better salaries and still get full coverage. I know for a fact, and I've seen it, and I know it for a fact that there's times because of our workforce in the police department being down where we have not had full coverage during the day. Okay. And I know that for a fact. Okay. I know that for a fact. And we need full coverage. We need full-time police officers on the road protecting our town. Even with increases, we still could probably do the police in this town for around $1 million a year. Okay. It would be, I think, at our advantage. Property tax changes are coming down the pike. We've got to look at ways to cut costs. Okay. May not happen this time, but it will happen next year, or it happened the next year after that. They may not come all into effect right away, but it's something that we need to look at right now. We're paying a lot in salaries for the higher end employees in this town. All you got to do is look at the governor's salary. He only makes $141,000.
Just got a raise. He just got a raise. They voted him a raise, 200 and something.
I
Go
know,
ahead.
but-
I'm
but-
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, well, he's getting paid 141,000, Greg. Okay.
No, they just gave him a raise.
Okay. So anyway, I don't need to argue. I'm just telling you what he's making right now. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We need to look at the top employees' salaries. We need to look at possibly reductions in force. We got to look at our vehicle situation. We spend way too much on fairly new vehicles all the time, okay? And we've gotten a couple new vehicles, and it's frustrating, and I hear it from people all the time, okay? Why are we always driving around in all these brand new vehicles, okay, and getting new vehicles all the time? We need to get a handle on it. We need to get a handle of our costs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Fran?
Mine was a maybe, but I do have some.
Okay.
Excuse me, Fran Carlton, 8432 Waterway Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
My general question is, I saw in the shorelines that you went to Washington.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm wondering if you can tell us what direct benefit to the town came out of that trip.
It was definitely very comprehensive. We met with NLC, which is National League of Cities, and I came up with, I met with other congresswomen, but we also came up with agencies, the DOT, looking at DOT for safer streets and looking at funding and grant funding to help make our streets safer in many different ways. Also spoke with and met with the EPA as looking for funding and grants, funding and or grants for the septic to sewer preparation. Doesn't mean that we're going that way, but we want to prepare for the avenue. We met with Congresswoman Frankel. Oh, I met with Congresswoman Frankel on the, she's committed to, or at least she's going to try to get us additional $1 million to subsidize the part 2 of the septic to sewer. I met with, went to a couple of different sessions, some of them on education, trying to explore, expand on just general education and into, they want to promote, they're into the trades. But so in our public school system, they talk about just, we need to go push our kids through school and have degrees. Well, they want to look at our trades are very depleted, so they want to look at expanding and multitasking our educational system. That's on the top of my head. That's the core of the things that I was able to.
Okay, well, the educational system doesn't have anything directly to do with Lake Clark Shores. It has to do with the county school district.
Well, it had, we're looking at from the Central Coalition. We have developed a central coalition, and we're identified areas within the coalition, which is all the communities around here, that would, there's a need to expand the VPK. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's the basic. Could you
Sure.
expand on that?
VPK is for kids before kindergarten, age 4. And we find that if they do take this free program, which is a half-a-day program for about 6 months, they are prepared for kindergarten, and their chances are they don't fall behind. So it's very important that most of the D-rated schools in Palm Beach County are in Central County. So that's a quality of life issue for all of us. So we're trying to get those D-rated schools up in grading. So we Central County is taking that on as one of our pillars to improve quality of life for everybody. So we want all those schools to improve at least to a B or an A one day. And VPK and all those programs are very essential to get those kids ready for kindergarten.
Well, my family's on education, so I understand education and the need for it. I just was concerned because personally, I don't see how a trip to Washington is going to benefit Lake Clark Shores directly. I understand the county and whatever, but and times have to change. We
Yeah.
didn't used to go to Tallahassee.
Right.
I understand sending a contingent to Tallahassee, but I don't understand sending somebody to Washington. And that's why I
Okay,
just want to know what
understood.
directly was going to come to us.
Big part, the part of the core of it was to look for additional funding, because we've been to Tallahassee year in, year out, and we keep getting nixed. So there are federal resources that can do those same things, that have a better avenue to get us funding. And so we're not putting our eggs in one basket. We're still asking Tallahassee. We're looking at our resources from Tallahassee perspective. But now we're looking at DC to see what kind of additional funding, met with DOT, EPA, all those can provide us funding. Some are matching funding and some are a lot more like 80-20.
And we
So-
wouldn't have been able to talk to Lois here at our local office.
You can, but the resources for funding, she's got staff here and she's got staff there. And the staff up there are the ones that meet with the people on the hill that can get us those funding resources.
Okay, thank
And
you.
I don't put my eggs in one basket. So we want to find all our resources. And if this is not the right avenue, then we won't go back. But NLC is providing us a lot of resources and we've had a couple of virtual meetings with DOT, EPA, and we're still having those meetings. And so far, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been very hopeful that we may get the ball rolling. Nothing's, until we get the money in our pockets, nothing's for sure. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak? But thank you for being due diligent. I want to do right by the town.
Hi, my name's Sophia Perry-Ellis, 1501 Mediterranean Road East.
If you could fill one of these out when you're done, one of these out for the record.
We know. sir.
I have
Okay.
an Actual formal statement. that
Okay.
I want On the record for tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand it's a civil matter, but I'm here to ensure the council has all of the facts. So approximately 4 years ago, I had a neighbor move in who decided to rip out my front yard, then called the police. Then I was given 10 days to get a survey during the time which I couldn't find a surveyor. So the town gave me Next Gen. Okay. Dan Clark wrote a letter saying his survey did not match his deed. There will be no fence built. And then I was in a lawsuit for 4 years with my neighbor. I have all the documents here. During that time, he ripped out 150 feet of my yard, dumped it into the lake, ripped out my irrigation system. I'm here actually to do a formal complaint against Mr. Lobello, and I want it on record. I was told that I would have to rip out my structures so that he could build his fence. I actually told him that the town gave the permits in the 70s to the old owners, that I'm not able to get out of my side yard anymore because his survey actually touches my pool screen and almost the building. I was also told that if I didn't basically like it, let it go or move. So I have the documents here. I want to just share it with everyone to review it, and I'm asking you guys to please come to my house and actually look at where the stakes are, and you tell me that this makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Is everybody online? Okay. This is, I guess, the oath of office. Goes to, Charlie gets the honors.
And just for the record, Councilmember Taylor Materio has already been sworn in,
Yes, sir.
and she is not here this evening. If you would raise your right hand and then state your name. I,
I, Bridget Keating,
Christy Mossbach,
a citizen of the state of Florida
a
citizen of the state of Florida
and of the United States of America,
and of the United States of America,
and being an officer of the town of Lake Clark Shores
and being an officer of the town of Lake Clark Shores,
and a recipient of public funds,
and a recipient of public funds,
as such officer,
as such officer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state
that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state
and that I will and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
all of the duties of the office
all of the duties of the office
of council person of the town of Lake Clark Shores, Florida,
of councilperson of the town of Lake Clark Shores, Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And you will need to also sign the oath, and it will be then filed with the official records of the town. And just for the benefit of the people in the audience, Florida law requires that all elected officials in the state and anyone who receives public funds as a salary or other manner must sign an oath of office to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida. So this is in compliance with that state statute and constitutional provision of the state.
Congratulations.
Okay. And then I guess you still have the gavel at this point?
Yes. Yeah, let me officially give you the gavel.
The next order of business is to select among yourselves who will be mayor, vice mayor, and president pro tem. So I will open the floor for nominations. Now, you may do this individually, or you may do it collectively and have a slate of officers for or nominations for the three positions.
I nominate Christy Mossbach for mayor.
I second.
What? Thank you. That's a surprise.
Nominations don't require a second, but seconds are not a problem.
Okay.
Are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Taylor
let-
Materio for vice mayor.
Okay,
Oh,
let's
you
go
wanna
ahead
do
and
it as a
vote.
slate, or you want to do it on?
Let's go ahead and vote on them.
However you want.
I, doesn't matter to me. We can go one at a time.
Well, it's up to you.
We can go one at a time.
Okay, all those in favor of Christy Massbach being the mayor of the town of Lake Clark Shores signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0, and 3 is a quorum. Okay, I'll open the floor for nominations for vice mayor.
I nominate Greg Freebold.
oh, that's another surprise.
Are there any other nominations? All those in favor of Mr. Freebold being vice mayor of the town of Lake Clark Shores signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. And now a nomination for president pro tem.
I'll nominate Taylor for president pro tem or same position.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor of Ms. Materio being the president pro tem signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll pass the gavel back.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Oh, we have a second.
Yes.
Yes.
Good second.
Um, all approved? All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Oh.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. We have some presentations. First, we have the Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics, Rhonda Geiger, General Counsel.
Hello, everybody. Rhonda Geiger with the Commission on Ethics. This is just my annual check-in. I left you guys some goodies of no value.
Glad you added that. I was gonna ask, is this over 100?
It has negative value. So
We can give you some goodies too.
that's the first time anybody's ever offered me anything. I do appreciate it. Everybody runs the other direction when we're in town. So, I appreciate the fruit snacks. Anyway, I'm just here to remind you that the Commission on Ethics is here. We're just past our 15th anniversary, so we've been around for a while now. We just made some legislative changes, codified some changes that the state law has sort of forced us to put into effect, but we're still here, still working hard, making sure everybody is on the straight and narrow. But I think we're finding more and more that we are answering questions as opposed to investigating complaints, which we really love. I think I say it every year that we don't want to be the gotcha agency. We want to be the agency that's there to answer the phone and answer questions before things go wrong. You know, our motto is ask first, act later. And we embody that. We really want to help people make sure they do the right things ahead of time before things become a problem. So we're here. You have all the stuff. My business card's been floating around for years, but I'll leave some more in the back. And if you have any questions, happy to answer those, and always happy to come to a live training. I think it's been a couple years now, or maybe it was just last year. Yeah, I think it might have been last year that
It was last year.
training. But anyway,
Do you ever go to the one that the League of City holds?
Christy does that, our
Christie
executive.
does that one.
We-
Okay.
Yep.
We tend to go to that one because we like the costumes.
I don't go to that one. And you know, I love coming and doing the live trainings. Honestly, that's my favorite part, is coming and answering, you know, being able to answer questions as sort of in real time as they come up. A lot of people have questions or, you know, concerns, and they won't pick up the phone and call, but if you're in front of them in a training, they'll ask.
Do you have the same presentation for staff as you do for electeds?
It is pretty much the same. I tend to tailor it. If I'm doing it just for elected, I tend to tailor it slightly more for voting conflicts, because that is something that would come up with elected, but never with an employee. But generally it's the same. The training has to cover the code of ethics. So either way, you're going to get the whole code of ethics to meet the requirement,
Right.
to meet the county requirement. But obviously, if it's just elected officials, we're going to talk a little bit more about those type of conflicts.
Good. One last question. What's your puppy's name?
Reggie.
Reggie. Feel bad for Reggie. Reggie's been very patient.
Reggie is the best greeter ever. I take her with me all the time, and she just sits out there and says hi to everybody. She's so happy. But it was her walk time, and so when I got up to leave to come to this, she looked at me like, "Come on, lady." So there she is. Anyway, nothing else?
I'm good.
Okay, you guys
Rhonda,
know-
thank you for your service.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
You guys
you.
know how to get a hold of me.
And now we'll have a presentation from the Palm Beach County Library System. Douglas Crane, the Director of the County Library.
Okay, well, thank you very much for having me here tonight, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Town Council. It's an honor to be here to talk about our Palm Beach County Library System. With me tonight is Sarah Brown, who's the main library manager. And, you know, when I tell people I'm the director for the county library system, I occasionally get a question that makes me a little concerned. They say, well, why do we need libraries today? We've had the internet for 20, 30 years now. Why do we still need libraries? And tonight, rather than me tell you why, I want to show some statistics that say the question's already been answered by our residents who continue to love and visit our libraries on a regular basis. Because you see, public libraries are a space where we believe people bring their hopes, their dreams, and their ambitions. So we work to open minds to a world of unlimited possibilities. And we do this through our mission to connect communities, inspire thought, and enrich lives. So when I talk about how our residents have already answered that question, let me show you a few statistics. For fiscal year 25, we had over 2.68 million visits to Palm Beach County libraries, 8.8 million items borrowed, 353,000 people used a library meeting room or a study room. We had nearly 400,000 PC or internet sessions enabled in the library. Through a partnership with the school district, which I'll talk about later, we served over 50,000 meals and snacks. Now, we are one of the larger county departments, and we also had over 50,000 hours of volunteer activity. We are, in fact, one of the big 6 library systems in the state of Florida. And as you can see from those numbers, the public really appreciates our libraries and visit them frequently. Now, the county library system is a little unusual in our county. In other counties, the county library system is the library system for the entire county. But here we cover about 2/3 of the geography of Palm Beach County, and I'll explain why we have that in a few moments. But you can find a county library from the Cuesta County line all the way through the center of the county down to Western Boca, and then out through the western communities all the way to the shores of Lake Okeechobee, where we have 3 library locations. We were able to do this through a voter-approved bond in 2002 that allowed us to add new libraries, replace old buildings, expand 3 buildings, and renovate all of our locations. And we also have a support facility called the Library Annex, which is located on Cherry Road. Right now, it's hidden behind the Supervisor of Elections parking garage. But whenever you visit that location, just look behind there and you'll see our Library Annex. It's where our bookmobile is located and some other services. And we're very excited about, just over a year ago, we opened our newest location, the Canyon Branch. I always find it funny to call anything in Palm Beach County canyons. I haven't seen any canyons yet, but Canyon Branch was opened in Western Boynton, about a mile west of the Turnpike in the Canyon Town Center, in January of 2025. And it has been one of our most widely recognized and appreciated locations. Now, here's a map showing all of our libraries. Now, you might be wondering, how come we don't have any libraries on the coast? Aren't there people living there? Well, there certainly are. But what happened in basically the 1960s, there was a movement led by the League of Women Voters to have public library service in the unincorporated areas of Palm Beach County. And in order to enable this and not double tax residents of a municipality that had an existing library, they created a state statute that enabled the creation of the Palm Beach County Library System. It was meant to serve all of the unincorporated area and any municipality that wanted to be a part of it. And today, 24 municipalities are part of that, including the town of Lake Clark Shores. Our millage rate has been held steady since 2011, and we have an operating budget of $116 million. Now, because we are a dependent taxing district, we're like a mini version of the county's general fund. We have to maintain all of our capital projects, all of our reserves, carry forward all of our balance on our own through that money from the district. And we do get a little bit of money from the state and from some grants and donations and a few other sources, but the dependent tax district is our primary funding source. Now, those municipalities that aren't part of the district, we have a library cooperative agreement with 9 of them that allows those residents to get a card with us and our residents to get a card with them. That leaves just 6 municipalities in Palm Beach County that cannot get a card with us. And I won't bother shaming them today, but you can probably guess which one by looking at the slides. Now, of course, as a public library, one of the things that people expect from us is a vast and diverse collection of free materials, and we provide that. We have over 2 million items in our collection, both print and electronic, that we provide automatic renewals, and you can place a hold on just about anything in our system and have it sent to your closest location, whether it's the main library nearby or the bookmobile. And in addition to our physical collection, we have a wide and growing collection of electronic material, items that you can check out through the apps on your phone or your computer, including ebooks, digital music, downloadable audiobooks, and streaming video. As well, we have a few special items such as Wi-Fi hotspots that you can take anywhere in the country and will connect to a T-Mobile connection anywhere you can go. Our award-winning birding backpack program, where you can check out its actual backpack full of binoculars, field guides, notebooks that you can take with you out to our natural areas to do bird watching, and citizenship kits for those who are aspiring Americans who want to make sure that they pass the test. And if you're worried about overdue fines, don't worry. Our Board of County Commissioners authorized us to end the process of overdue fines back in 2019. The only thing you can get charged for is if you fail to return items, whether they're lost or damaged. But otherwise, you're free to check out up to 50 items per card. In addition to the collection, we offer research assistance and instruction. Our librarians answered 941,000 questions in fiscal year 25, ranging in topics from across whatever you can imagine. And we have different online research tools as well. If you want to seek your own answers, you can go, instead of looking online where you might have questionable sources, if you use our databases, we can find business, literature, law, and publications such as Consumer Reports and the Palm Beach Post. And we have special librarians that are dedicated to particular topics. And Sarah's group actually oversees these librarians, such as our technology training librarian, our business librarian, and our community research librarian answers questions from municipalities, other government agencies, and community groups. And we provide free research. So if the town has a question that the staff are maybe a little bit too complicated for them, or you're a little overwhelmed, you can direct it to Sarah's group, and they will actually come back with a nice package of information for you. Now, as a former children's librarian, I consider children's services the heart and soul of public libraries. We had almost 6,000 activities in FY25 and 165,000 children attending. And this ranges from story times, crafting, book clubs, gaming, and more. You know, whenever I see children come into the library, it's often their first opportunity to have access to more books than they could have possibly imagined existed. And it's a great opportunity to see them just sit down there and read with their parents and take a stack of books home. One of my favorite activities that we do is called ARF, Animal Reading Friends. And you can see the picture, bottom picture is actually from that activity. When children are learning to read, they might get a little shy trying to read to an adult, but who would get shy reading to that gorgeous little dog over there? And the dog sits there and smiles, and it's a really beautiful activity.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And we also don't forget the teens. We had 734 teen activities, 12,000 teens attending. So if anyone has a teen at home, they're tired of them just sitting on their phone at home, send them to the library. We'll give them something very constructive to do while they're there. Also, I do want to mention a copy of this presentation is available in the packets that were distributed to all the board members before the meeting for you to look at later on. Now, we also reach up and beyond our walls. Our bookmobile, which I know visits the town here, visits over 42 stops over a 2-week period. And these are stops typically either 3 miles away from a library location or in a location where people have difficulty getting out, such as an assisted living facility. And for those who are truly homebound, we'll actually mail books to their home through the Books by Mail program. And for those who are blind or visually impaired, whether permanently or temporarily, we have Talking Books for the Blind, which we send these free electronic readers. It's a program run through the Library of Congress that we have our own Talking Books library here in Palm Beach County, and we'll send this material free of charge to residents. And often it's one of their last lifelines out there because a lot of these residents can be as old as 100 years old. We recently had an activity where we had celebrated our centenarians, and it was really fun to see. And for those adults who are not reading at a level that would allow them to fill out a government form or read the newspaper, we have the Adult Literacy Project that connects volunteer tutors with adults to help get them read up to a grade level. Additionally, we reach out and partner in the community. We are a founding member of the Literacy Coalition of Palm Beach County because public libraries and the Literacy Coalition share that same mission. We want to have a literate society. And it's one of those things that if people didn't learn to do it at a young age, we help them, and no matter what age they are. We also work with the school district on several different programs. Our signature one is the summer lunch service. Unfortunately, a lot of children in Palm Beach County, their only reliable lunch is at school. So what do they do during the summer? Well, school food service staff come to each one of our libraries and they'll serve a free meal to anyone who's 18 and younger. And also during the year, we now provide weekend meal kits through a partnership with the food bank. You can just come to the library, such as the main library. And if you have a child, you can take home a bag of food for the weekend. And it's free of charge, no questions asked. We also collaborate with cultural institutions, the Norton Art Gallery. We have our signature Books Plus Art event, where we'll read a book in the library in a book discussion based on some artwork at the Norton. And then we'll follow that up with a field trip to the Norton to do an art tour. And of course, voting is one of the most important things we do here for our democratic society, and our libraries are early voting sites. Last election cycle, 12 of the libraries served as early voting sites, and almost all of them served as a polling location in the general election. And we will continue that partnership again this year, since we do have midterms coming up. And we don't forget adults. We are an educational pillar of the community. We had over 4,700 activities with almost 70,000 adults in attendance. We are also one of the largest computer training organizations in Palm Beach County. We will train people from simple as using a mouse, through Office Suite, through video and audio software, which is actually one of the things we offer at our main library. As well, our Writers Live program brings national authors down here, typically during the winter. I don't know why they like to come in the winter, but they do. And they get an opportunity to interact with our residents. We also celebrate the cultural heritage of our community with things like Hispanic Heritage, Haitian Heritage, and Black History Months. Now, I do want to invite and challenge the Town Council to join us in Rediscover Reading. Did you know that unfortunately across America, reading for pleasure has declined over the last 20 years as people get more attracted to smartphones and scrolling endlessly on the internet? Well, we want to invite people to rediscover the joys that come from reading. There are verifiable health and wellness benefits that come from reading fiction, from reading books, whether it is reading the physical book in print, in audio, or even reading an ebook. So we actually are doing a year-long campaign. The Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners proclaimed so in January that this year's the year to rediscover reading. And as I travel around visiting our municipalities in the taxing district, I'm inviting them and challenging them to take part in this. And you can track your reading through a free tool called Beanstack, where you can go track your hours. We're trying to get up to, I think it's like 1 million hours read in Palm Beach County this year. And you can actually form groups and challenge each other to read. So if the town council wants to all get on Beanstack and challenge each other to read the most, you can do that. And we would invite that. Now, your closest location to the town of Lake Clark Shores is the main library located on Summit Boulevard here in West Palm Beach. And it was our oldest location. It was first opened in 1972. It provides 7-day-a-week service. It has the most operating hours of any of our locations. It has the Creation Station, which is a digital media lab, a computer lab. We have large meeting rooms and conference rooms, and a wide number of study rooms as well. But also you have library service nearby. Lantana Road is not that much further away. It also has a Creation Station. And if you drive a little further, you can get to Green Acres. But of course, your card is good at any of our library locations. And as I'm on the topic of library locations, I want to share some important news. Back in February, I presented to the Board of County Commissioners at their budget retreat on the library's budget and our capital program. And as a result of that presentation, which you can view on Channel 20, the board authorized us to do a wide renovation program to hit every one of our library locations to modernize and update all of our facilities to match the needs of the community. And it's something that we need to continue doing going forward. They also authorized us to explore building a new main library on Summit Boulevard. Our current main library is the smallest main library of all the big 6 counties in the state of Florida. And we want to expand that out because, you know, the tagline for Palm Beach County is the best of everything. Well, we should have the best main library in the state of Florida. And to that end, we are looking at building a 150,000 square foot building on the Summit Boulevard parcel on the undeveloped portion on the eastern part. That would be 3 times the size of the current building. Now, it wouldn't be just to house more books. It would actually be to have such amenities as a large civic center space that will sit 600 people, the equivalent of South County Civic Center. We would also have more tech labs, digital labs, museum and art gallery type space, plus outdoor activity space on the property, in addition to more meeting rooms and study rooms, which are in high demand. Now, in order to do this, the board also authorized us to explore the idea of putting an item on the November ballot for the voters of Palm Beach County to approve general obligation bonds to fund a capital program. And in our history, we've had 2 times when we went to the voters. The first was in 1986. The second time was in 2002. And both times the voters of Palm Beach County supported bonds at a rate of 67 and 69%. So we are expecting to go in front of the board in June to get them to approve this measure. And if so, they would see it on the November ballot. So there's a little ways to go from here to there, but I'll update the town once I know the board has approved, once the board has approved it in one of their meetings, and then we'll be able to share information going forward. So with that, I just want to close with our contact information. So if you need to reach myself or Sarah, our main library manager, we have the information right there. And with that, I'm going to conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
No, thank you, Doug.
You are busy.
We are busy.
Good for you. A couple quick questions.
Yes.
We still have the bookmobile here in Lake Clark Shores after all these years.
Mhm.
And that's probably because it gets utilized, correct?
Correct, yes.
So that's a good thing for the residents here in Lake Clark
Mhm.
Shores. How's the legislator, how they been to you?
The legislator?
Legislature,
Well, yeah,
legislate.
the
Well,
legislature,
you're
correct.
usually dealing with 1 or 2, I'm sure, here and there. It's not easy getting in and
It's
getting a
not
meeting with
easy,
those
no.
guys, but I see you working hard there, so.
I know, I have seen you up in the Capitol.
Yes.
The main thing we push for, there's several library grants the state of Florida provides. These include state aid to public libraries, which provides operating dollars to public libraries, and that's one of the main things that we push up there. This year, we're also pushing for library construction grants. We actually have 1 new library we're creating in the town of Hypoluxo that we expect to open in about 2 years. And that one, we're looking for a construction grant. They have a program for public library construction grants. Plus, we also seek to fund what are called library cooperatives. There are 5 of them in the state that support all of our public libraries. And of course, we're also making sure that legislation is passed up there that is favorable to public libraries. And that is often a challenge, given the makeup of the legislature these days.
Okay, I want to ask you one other, explain to me about the teen program. I have a young teen who I may be interested in putting into that program.
Okay.
Very smart young man, just needs a little bit of guidance. This
Okay.
might be just a thing.
Well, I think the best
He's
thing
a,
to do-
he's a junior National Honor Society.
Mhm.
He's almost a straight A student this time. But talk to me.
Okay, well, for teens, we have several options for teens to get involved in the library. Well, we have a wide range of activities they can just come out and attend, but we also have our summer volunteer program. So when teens are looking for those volunteer hours to graduate, they can come to the library, sign up, and do volunteer service throughout the summer. It's a very easy program. We're going to open that up in May. We also have year-round volunteer opportunities that if the students enjoy working at the library in the summer, they often end up becoming volunteers year-round. But the other piece too, if they are looking to earn a little money, we have student positions. They have to be in high school or college, and those are up to 20 hours a week, and we pay the minimum wage, and they're able to come in and primarily shelve material and assist.
For the
with that.
volunteer program, is there an age minimum or?
I believe volunteers is 12, yes.
12?
12,
Perfect. He'll fit right in. He's over 12.
He's over 12.
We're going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Okay, well, just.
Sarah, do I come over there and see you or? I'm going to bring him with me and I'll introduce you to him. He's a nice young man. I got to admit. So we're going to help you with your Rediscover reading, and I won't take too much more of your time, but I want to let you know the three of us here did attend a Mayor's Coalition on Literacy, and then Bridget and I both did read for the record on the day that was designated. So we agree the reading is very important, and I'm all for getting those devices out of those kids' hands. I don't do any social media. I use my phone and my computer for work only. And when I can leave this thing behind, trust me, ask people. I do. So thank you. Thank you for all of your efforts.
Yeah, Doug, we applaud all that y'all do. You have amazing programs. Bridget and I got the chance to have a visit with you last year. And on a personal note, I take books out from your library monthly. I
excellent.
really love your library.
Well, thank you very much. Well, we appreciate the support of the town of Lake Clark Shores, and I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Nice to meet you tonight, Sarah. Thank you.
Chief Martinez, do you have a report for us?
That book. Always have it back up.
Good evening, council. Long time no see. Sorry I missed the last few meetings. Life hit hard in my house over the last couple months. But I hope Chief Harvey did a good job representing. I want to first and foremost congratulate you all on
Realignment.
your movement and realignment. It's a thankless job. Speaking of thankless jobs, let me introduce myself. Ron Martinez, District Chief with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. I oversee Battalion 10. District 3 oversees 6 stations, about 200 personnel. So before we start, I want you guys to bring expectations low. Following a great speaker like we just saw, PowerPoint not working. So I'm gonna freestyle this. I followed the HR lady throughout this whole. Every time I got a council meeting, I follow the same people. But it's funny, she speaks on ethics, and I'm currently, doing my master's degree, and the class I'm in is a professionalism in ethics. So I just laugh how small the world is and how funny everything is. And you just mentioned your teenage son. I got the same problem. And I feel like the stricter I am, the harder it gets.
Except for I have a grandson.
Right. So Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue oversees about 1 million residents. Okay. We have 51 stations throughout the department, anywhere south from Boca Raton all the way up to Jupiter, all the way out west to where you saw those 3 libraries, Pahokee, South Bay, and Belglade, and all the way out east to the beach like Manalapan. We cover about 1,800 square miles, again, 1 million residents, 51 stations. And again, we're here to serve. We're just here to give a service. You should have a book in front of you. It's basically your annual report specifically to the town of Lake Clark Shores. And a page that comes to mind right away is page 3. So I got an attaboy, and I want to thank the town for this. With our department, we got 100% satisfaction throughout the whole town of Lake Clark Shores. So what happens there is after a call, within 5 days, we pay a third party vendor because we want to keep, we want to find out how we're doing, how we can get more better, as they would say. We got 100% satisfaction rating. And if you see there, they ask eight specific questions. Would you recommend them to anyone else? Were you happy with your service? Were you spoken to? Were the steps and the proper procedures explained? And basically got 100 out of all the district chiefs. That's really hard to do. It's not me doing it. It's the crews doing it. But I just happened to be there and I was like, wow, Lake Clark Shores. Palm Springs came a close second. So I got first and second. But want to thank you and the town specifically for that. Again, that's just a customer satisfaction survey that we do. And we basically request information specifically 5 days after the call when it's recent. And just to see how we can make things better. Page 4 is basically a coverage map. And I'm sorry for everybody out there. There was a PowerPoint. It's a basic coverage map of the areas and zones that cover you. You guys have Station 93 down south, which is in Lake Worth. And you have Station 39, which is in Palm Springs. Those are your primary response units. Not saying you don't have other units responding. There's a total of 5 units responding to the town. So always keep that in mind. Response times are of the utmost importance to us, and that's kind of what I do on a daily basis, always tracking that. We do have glance preemption. I have spoken about glance preemption. Glance preemption, for those that don't know, is a program that we purchased to basically have the lights change as our emergency vehicles drive through the roads. It not only increases or improves response times, but it also makes everything safer. We are seeing a rapid decline in vehicle accidents. Vehicle accidents are pretty common when responding emergency vehicles. They're not always catastrophic. That's why you don't hear about them. But the smallest dent, I gotta make sure a report's done. So we do see a rapid decline with this glance preemption. So that's always a plus. In the town of Lake Clark Shores last year, we ran 306 calls, which is not bad. Average response time of 7 minutes and 37 seconds. We had of those 73% were medical calls. 73% is not bad. We're usually around 80 or 90% medical calls in the fire service. We are very aware that's kind of what we do now, and we do a little bit of fire on the side. When you think of firefighters, I don't want you to just think that all we do is fight fire all day. You could ask Ben in the back how many he's fought. I don't think he's fought many. But we are always staying ready. We're always staying prepared, innovative, looking for new ideas, going to conferences. FDIC International is coming up. There's just always a conference to continue to educate, continue to improve. And then second in the list was alarms. Alarms can be fire alarms, smoke detectors, copper monoxide alarms. Next month, actually, I have a lithium-ion battery presentation that I'm going to bring here. It was between this one and that one, so sorry you got me today. The next one I'm going to bring somebody with me, kind of an SME on the subject matter. She'll explain a little more on lithium-ion batteries, where to park your vehicle, where to park your golf carts, how to dispose of equipment, because it's a constant threat in the fire service, as you may know already.
Sure is. And it's not getting any better.
And I want to page 21. Page 21 is going to basically go over the statistics on emergency medical calls that happen in the town of Lake Clark Shores. You had a total of 159 patients transported. Only one of them was a trauma alert. A trauma alert can be transported by ground or air, depending how far we are from the hospital. We can use 2 helicopters, depending on distance, or if it was a car accident, on time of extrication of getting the patient out. We had 4 sepsis alerts. We had 0 STEMIs and 6 stroke alerts. STEMIs, 0, basically means cardiac issues, or not cardiac issues, basically MIs or heart attacks, as they're most commonly known as. So that's good. You guys are doing pretty good in the town of Lake Clark Shores. If you look at the diagram right below it, it says 12.8% of our cardiac arrests return with neuro and are walking and moving and talking like you and I, which is higher than national average. The cool thing I see about that is every time we do save somebody, we do create a resuscitation. I just had one last week. We bring back the citizen, we bring back the community, and they get to meet the crews that save them. It is awesome to see every time. I've seen a lot of them, and every time it just brings a tear because everybody brings a different story. Everybody's life's different. So it's pretty cool. A call I want to harp on is a call that basically one of your female lieutenants from your primary response zone worked at Boca Raton on a random shift, random day, random shift. She just happens to run, they run a car in canal. They got on scene. Deputy County Administrator Nadler was on scene, just happened to drive by, saw it, and he was just giving our team kudos. This crew was in the water, pulled the patient out within 5 minutes. Patient was breathing and talking by the time they got to the hospital.
Unbelievable.
The cool part of all that is she works in West Palm Beach. So, you know, I threw my 2 cents in after everybody was done talking. I told her, Corey, her name is Lieutenant Foltz. I was like, Corey, how many times have you worked with the gentleman that you performed that call? She goes, I've never worked with him. I go, did you review this call before? And I know the
Right.
answer to this.
Right, right.
Did you review this type of call? Because it's dive calls are not frequent
Yeah.
unless you're at a dive station.
Mhm.
I go, did you review what you guys are going to do in case this call happens? She goes, no. So it just brings to light the level of training throughout the county, no matter where you're at. I mean, again, she's been in West Palm her whole career. She had just happened to work in Boca Raton that one day, and all the stars aligned. That person was very thankful. We had that award ceremony the other day, but it's just cool to just to say that the training is department wide. So just know you're always getting great service here. Luckily, the area you live is where all the hard chargers are. All the people that are really passionate are in this area, and there's just very congested in here, and you'll hear fire trucks running, but that's always a good thing. You don't got to motivate here. You just got to pull back a little bit and say you can do some of those things. But just wanted to make sure you felt at ease. Page 22 is going to talk a little bit about whole blood. I've spoken about whole blood to you. We're one of the founding departments when it comes to this. In Palm Beach County, for sure, we're the first one. But if you see that little diagram, little map, if you see where you're located on the map, you're between 23 and 91. You have whole blood anywhere near Lake Clark Shores. Just know that 23 is our central housing for whole blood, and whole blood is basically used for many incidents that are traumatic that may require whole blood or plasma. Back in the day, we used to just give a lot of fluids in traumatic incidents when you were bleeding out. We found out that we were just diluting your blood and causing more harm. So now we're actually giving you whole blood in case of these accidents. And those are usually carried by our EMS captains. And again, you have EMS Captain 23 and 91 around you. On the right side of the page, you'll see a cool devices like a Lucas 3, ultrasounds, ventilators, glide scopes. Lucas 3 is just basically the best third man on the rescue. He does all the CPR for you, very consistent. And the depth compressions are exact every time. The crews love the device. PBSO just purchased those devices for the jail. So our crews trained with them last week, and it was pretty cool to see a collaboration between both departments. And then I would just want to go towards the end, and I just wanted to talk about community education. Next week, we are doing community education, which is page 34. We are going to do community education with lithium batteries, next month. But I want you to see the page on the left where it's community education. All those classes there are being offered free of charge by our department to the community. Last year, only 25 two sessions were done here in the Lake Clark Shores. I would like to increase that number. All you have to do is make a phone call to me. I'll make it happen. And it's just to get the community involved. I know you have senior events, senior nights, so we can, fall prevention, carbon monoxide, fire safety. There's a little bit of everything in there. And all it does is give me a call. I'll set it up. And we would love to be here.
Thank you.
No,
Oh,
residents.
Residents.
Yeah. For the whole community. We did smoke detector installations. We do a bunch. Again, a big department. I get to brag once a year about our department, how cool it is. We just graduated recruit class 96 with 31 firefighters, puts us over 2,000 employees. We're just getting bigger and bigger.
Trying to keep up with Miami-Dade.
Trying to keep up with Miami-Dade. I think they've maxed out. We're still growing. We do have groundbreaking ceremonies for Station 24 coming up in 2 weeks now. That's
24.
going to be Westgate area. It does impact you guys overall because again, and we did add a rescue in Lake Worth Road at the station on Lake Worth Road by the Turnpike.
Okay.
We added another rescue there. So that's going to help with response times. It's going to help with availability. It's going to help a bunch. That being said, thank you all for having me. I look forward to the next meeting. Sorry the PowerPoint didn't work out. But we'll do it better next time.
It's all good.
Okay.
Chief,
Any
thank
questions?
you so much. Congratulations on your 100% satisfaction.
Oh, thank you.
That's terrific. Whole blood, that's on every truck, right?
It's on every EMS captain vehicle. So every battalion has let's say a person in charge of all the medical calls. They call that person. He's on a 24-hour shift, always available. And they call that person, the lieutenant on each rescue truck will call that person ahead of time, or depending on the call type, a shooting, stabbing, anything with gross trauma, we would automatically deploy. So, and also our helicopters have them, and every EMS vehicle has them. And we give it pretty readily. And we also give plasma.
It's a wonderful service. I know you definitely want to take you up on that community education
Absolutely.
as well.
All you have to do is reach out, and I like the lithium battery. I mean, it's just one email or one, and I'll make it happen.
If your stat said 12.8% of cardiac victims are discharged alive, does that mean that 87% die?
So what happens is sometimes you can survive a cardiac arrest, but you can have no neuro. So lack of oxygen to the blood, basically, I'm not going to say bedridden, but you lose some motor functions. The percentage you're seeing there is of people actually come out, talk to us afterwards, and which is an incredible number. It's beyond the national average. I know in the movies you see things happen. It doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
But again, our numbers have improved dramatically, especially since adding that the best CPR person, the Lucas. It's constant compressions. CPR and studies have shown that hands on the chest is most important. You don't see people give ventilations anymore. It's more about chest compressions, and that device has helped us. And our crews, we do a form of pit crew CPR. It's called. It's basically everybody's in sync. Everybody has a position at the beginning of the shift. You're going to be airway. You're going to be compressions. You're going to be meds. You're going to know that before your shift starts. So that way, when you get to the call, you know what you're doing, and there's a lack of interruption, and that's what's creating these ROSC, return of spontaneous circulation.
Any questions?
I just want to give you some kudos. This may be about 3 weeks ago now. My neighbor lost his balance and fell. And he's an older gentleman. He's 84 or 85, and he's got a pacemaker. He's on Eliquis. He's on all these different type medications for a bad heart and all that. Well, where he fell, he was taking the garbage out the side door. There was a table there, and he hit the table, and it just ripped him from here to there. So his wife, who had just had back surgery and is in a wheelchair, calls the house, and my wife and I were getting ready to go in the hot tub. And at first I just said, "Oh, hey, Marty, you're lucky you caught me. We're getting ready to jump in the hot tub." And she's hysterical. She can't barely speak. And I said, "What's going on? What's the matter?" She goes, "You got to get over here. Ken fell." I said, "Call 911. I'll be right over." I mean, I literally put a t-shirt on and a pair of flip-flops, and here comes your team right down the street. And he was in a very confined area. So you guys did a marvelous job. I couldn't believe it.
Appreciate it.
It was like,
we're expert
you
at
can
faults.
imagine the blood. I mean, he had to have 3 surgeries on it. He was in the hospital for 7 or 8 days. So the guys were fantastic because of course she's frantic. It wasn't good. It looked even worse than it was because of the blood. The blood was just everywhere. And those guys came in, they got it under control, got him up, communicated quickly. They didn't know me from the man in the moon.
Correct.
But they could tell that I was kind of taking charge.
Yeah.
She couldn't talk. I mean, she was hysterical. So, I mean, I'm telling you, they were there within a couple of minutes.
Outstanding. I'm very happy to hear that.
And even my wife said, "Oh my God, they're here already." I said, "Good stuff."
We offer a program called Mobile Integrated Health. Basically, after any call or during a call, the officer or any crew member on the scene can identify if this is an ongoing problem, or if they see somebody that's like kind of living alone and can't live alone. It's called our Mobile Integrated Health. They basically refer them to our team, and our teams will come back and check on basically on your neighbor. Maybe they could do a fall prevention. Go over there, find out what's going on, see how they can outfit the house better to fall less, or educate the community.
Sure.
Because us educating the community will
How do they
bring
do
down
with
the
stubborn old men?
We're still trying to figure that out.
I tell them all the time, you're trying to do too much. So thank you though.
Absolutely.
Very good.
And speaking on the libraries, one last thing. Funny story. I listen to Audible. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I drive a lot, so it's kind of how I pass the time. One of these days, I told my wife, "Hey, I have to get you this Audible book. It was amazing. I want you to listen to it." She goes, I already listened to it. She goes to the library and gets it for free while I'm paying for a membership. And I've done that for 5 years easily. She goes, I've been doing the library forever. Oh, so library does prove a lot of.
This call, you never find them with their space.
Oh, it's always in the most cramped spaces and uncomfortable situations.
And I don't know if you heard about our law enforcement officer that did CPR that had a ROSC patient.
Outstanding.
And you want to do a little highlight on it?
Regarding our state.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did respond to a cardiac arrest in the town where one of our police officers was first on scene. The individual was not conscious, not breathing, in their lazy boy chair, if you will. The officer immediately moved them to the ground, began one-person CPR, and utilized the AED, an automated external defibrillator. Successfully shocked the individual, continued CPR, which for him, as he explained, felt like 20 minutes, but fire rescue received, responded within a couple of minutes, continued CPR, utilized the Lucas machine. The individual, although he was admitted into the hospital and had to stay there a little more than a month, did recover fully and was able to be discharged.
Outstanding.
So we
I
get,
mean, that's incredible.
Teamwork.
Were you able to do that training with our cruise chief?
we did. They provided, I believe it was early February.
Yeah.
They came in and provided first AED, CPR, and stop the bleed training to not just the police department, but other individuals in the town who wanted to volunteer. For the training.
Outstanding. See, and the more we do those classes, the more we involve the community, the less calls we'll get. So we're investing ahead of time, kind of like in inspections, to prevent fires. We're trying to prevent these accidents from happening or having citizens help, because hands on the chest is the most important right now.
Prevention's the best medicine.
Yes. But thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Next month we'll have
All
a
of your efforts.
lithium battery.
You want to do the monthly report while you're standing there?
Sure.
Okay, because it's,
Let me-
is that okay?
I freestyled everything today.
Proceed.
Proud of myself. All right, so Palm Beach County Fire Rescue ran 27 calls in the month of March in Lake Clark Shores. Average response time was 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Turnout times 36 seconds. So turnout times is what I harp on the most. Turnout times means the crews were either working out, studying, cooking, showering, in the bathroom, whatever they were doing, and the truck was moving in 36 seconds on average.
That's impressive.
That's crazy.
That's very, like, try to get in your car right now in 36 seconds.
Get it under.
So I always thank them. I always harp on it. There's some things like we can't control, distance, right? Building a new fire station is different, but there's some things we can't control, but there's some things we can. And turnout times is one of those things we can. Travel time we also can improve, and we're doing that through glance preemption. But I don't want to tell them speed, right? I don't want to tell them to put themselves in harm's way.
Right.
So the way we fix that is by turnout times. And I'm appreciative of the crews, as always. I thank them. And I don't think I was here to thank you guys for inviting us to the barbecue. Family had a great time. They always talk about how great the food was.
Thank you.
And we're just happy to be here. That's all I got for an update.
Thank you, Chief.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
for
you
having
and
me.
all the staff that showed up.
Absolutely.
We were impressed.
Oh, they loved it.
Unfinished business. The ordinance 2026-02. Charlie?
This is the second and final reading of ordinance 26-02. It's the amendments to the town charter that do not require a referendum.
Do you want to read the
I
title?
will read the title. An ordinance of the town council of Town of Lake Clark Shores, Florida, substantially amending the charter of the town in order to eliminate outdated and unnecessary provisions and to otherwise clarify provisions of the charter, providing for inclusion in the code of ordinances of the town, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, providing for an effective date, and for other purposes.
Mayor, would you like me to do a small presentation? Or
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Just to remind the audience, we started this endeavor back in September of last year. The charter, which is the foundation of the town's legal documents, was not updated or reviewed for decades. So we said, let's do that. Back in October, then the next month, the council decided to start with the town attorney and staff to review the document and give us a course of action. Back in February, we decided to take two silos, which is two separate items, which is one, let's clean up the charter because it's been a while since we've cleaned it up. And that's what this is. This ordinance is basically a cleanup. We've spent many hours looking at it, and it's going to be a lot shorter, a lot more concise. I think it'll serve the community well. The second silo is things that we can change, and they would require a referendum, which is a residents' vote. And we're looking at some items on that, and that's going to be the next item and the next agenda item. But this item, we had a first reading, it was approved. The second reading, basically, we only changed one thing, a word that was ceremonial, we changed it to official. And we're recommending approval on second reading of this ordinance, Mayor.
Audience comments? I know, where's Fran? I think she had some comments. Did we lose her?
Yeah, she's
Right here.
Outside,
Oh,
Right here.
there she is.
oh, we're doing audience comments, Fran, and I suspect you have some on the charter.
Did you change anything different than what we okayed before last month?
No, it's the same. And
I apologize, but I needed him for something else.
Anybody else have any comments on it while Fran gets ready?
the ceremonial official, we changed that.
I still have a problem. Oh, that I should be up here yet. I still have a problem with it being town manager, not town administrator. And I'm going back to 83 when we hired Stu Lieberman, and it was definitely town administrator. It was not to be. I don't know, because I missed what you said, so I probably shouldn't be standing here because I
No,
don't.
it's just audience comments.
I know, but I don't know what was said when I was out of the room, so I don't know whether. I really-
Nothing. You didn't miss anything.
The rest of the things were strictly things that had to be because of the sunshine law, right? And because of state statutes.
Yes, that's the majority of things.
All right, then I guess I don't have a problem with this. I have a problem with the next thing.
Okay, thank you. It's
Would
manager.
you like to come up?
It's manager.
Any other audience comments? Okay, council comments. I have some comments. I raised concerns last time that I still have concerns about this time. This was supposed to be a cleanup, and it's marvelously cleaned up. But I think in the process of doing the cleanup, we made some substantive changes, primarily removing authority from the town council, which seemed at one point to be almost a strong mayor form of government. And that is not how we currently practice it. But it seems to me that it's more than cleanup. And there's 3 different sections in here that to me seem substantive, and as opposed to cleaning up sunshine laws or things that the state has preempted out of our control.
Which section, Christie? Because maybe those are the ones that I'm concerned with, but I wasn't here to pay attention.
Well, shall I go on, or do you all want to?
No, go on,
Go on.
finish what you're
Okay.
doing.
Again, these are not roles that I care to exercise, or anybody on this council cares to exercise, but to me that they're substantive. The new section 8, the town had the town council had the ability to hire assistants and employees, which has been removed. And then on page 8, we've got the chief executive issue, which, and then on page 9, we have removal or suspension of officers. And again, that's not anything that I care to exercise, but to me, it's not cleanup, it's changing policy. So those are 3 things that give me concern. removing authority from the town council. That was, it, you know, the framers, to talk in the, like, the constitution that the framers put in.
Charlie?
The changes that we have made are consistent with what is considered a city manager, town council form of government. For example, on page 8, the section that was removed says that the mayor shall be the executive officer of the town, and it shall be the mayor's duty to attend to the proper and effective enforcement of laws and ordinances of the town. The mayor has never had that ability to do that. That has always been the council's ability and the police department's ability, not the mayor's. So that language just doesn't fit today with the current nature of the law in the state of Florida. Unless you have a strong mayor form of government.
Well, to me,
And-
that's, Charlie, the first time I read this, to me, it read like a strong mayor form of government.
But
That's
it was never intended to be. It
What-
was always,
reaching back to 1958, we know, or 57?
the charter that you have in your code book right now is not a strong mayor form of government. It may have been before that, but what is in this code has always been a manager, council form of government.
Okay.
We have
that-
never, since I've been representing the town over 30 years, had a strong mayor form of government.
I understand. I'm just going back to 1957 when this was drafted.
Understand?
I would like very much, before this is approved, I'd like very much to try and go back and find the original town charter, because I am sure that originally, when this town was chartered, it was a mayor form of government. And somewhere along the line, and we never voted on it, I've been here 53 years, we've never voted to change the form of government. And changing it from a mayor form to a manager form is something that has to be voted on by the town residents.
That is correct.
And I need to know, in my heart, I need to know when it was changed from a town mayor form of government to a town manager form of government. And maybe it was changed before 30 years from now, but it was not that way before. It was, I mean, when we hired Stu Lieberman, it was very clear that it was an administrator that he was being hired as.
But it was still a manager form of government. It was not a strong mayor form of government under Mr. Lieberman.
Well, the council and the mayor made the decisions, not the manager.
So in the original charter, the town council could hire assistants and employees. The town council could remove or suspend officers. The town council, back to the official head chief executive issue.
That is correct.
Though none of those are roles that I think any of up here wants to exercise. But to me, it goes beyond the scope of quote unquote cleanup.
Well,
Does it have to be voted on tonight?
it does not.
Charlie, council still sets policy, manager
Carries out.
implements the policy, correct?
Correct. That is
Regardless.
correct.
We have the power to hire and fire. We have the power to hire an engineer. The council, because there's rumors floating out there, the council's always had ability to do things. And Joe knows this, we've had this discussion for quite a few years now. And they've tried it in other places. To the best of my recollection, and Fran, I'll dig into this. I've never known there to be a mayor, you run for the mayor. The council has always aligned. Okay, so that's where the strong mayor, weak manager comes in versus the weak mayor, strong manager. That's what it's always been, to my knowledge.
Well, I mean, here.
Which is
you-
fine.
You have.
We
you-
don't know the
you have-
data, the council is not going to know the day-to-day operations like the manager is, handling staff, dealing with the head of the police department, things of that nature. Those are things that should be left to somebody who runs the show. What we need to do and have implemented and made sure it's clear that we have our abilities, which is to basically hire and fire and set policy, and then make sure that that policy is implemented according to what the entire council decides is best for the community. We represent the community up here.
Been changed so that you don't have the authority to hire.
No, that's still in here. We would never vote for that. There's no municipality that has that. Every council in the whole state of Florida has the ability to hire and fire the manager. Not that we're doing that, but we do. Joe's aware of that. He knows that.
100%.
Nothing's personal. This is all business. At the end of the day, the council represents the citizens of the town of Lake Clark Shores. It's our duty to listen to them, decide policy, debate, bring it out into the sunshine, talk about it, and then implement the best policies, which I'll get to, Jeff, in a little bit. So these are the things. It's, if we want to go to a strong mayor, that'll change the whole game
Oh, I have,
in a lot of different
I
ways.
don't think any of.
No,
of
I
that.
understand. I'm just saying.
And I think we are more than happy to give up
Do you feel like
some of
we're
the
losing
authority that's,
authority?
what's that?
Do you feel like we're losing authority?
I feel like on paper we are. I feel like tradition tradition has us doing it the way that we currently do. But I think that there's no need to change some of this language in order to do an effective cleanup.
Right.
Um,
Well, Charlie, as far as you can recommend to us, this is all just covered under state anyways, correct?
Well, yes and no. Most of this is dictated because of state law. And if you look at the charter that's in your code book, you will see pages and pages of references to the state law that have caused the sections to be deleted. That's still all in the charter, but it's struck through.
That's
It doesn't,
that's cleanup. That's yeah,
that doesn't need to be there
Yeah.
anymore. We're
Yeah,
taking all that out
absolutely.
because of state law.
absolutely. And you did a great job on that.
This language follows what is typically considered a manager council form of government. But if the council has a problem with the specific language, tell us what you'd like to have, and it may be something that we can leave in. But you do not want to have a situation where your council hires your employees and then interferes with the day-to-day administration of those employees, because that creates a major difficulty for the staff and for the manager, and creates all kinds of HR issues. Typically, in the council manager form of government, except for key employees such as the manager, the attorney, the engineer,
The
auditor, the manager is responsible for the hiring and firing and for the administration dealing with all of the town employees. And there is typically a provision that provides that there cannot be interference by the council in that aspect of the government of the town. But the council as a whole always has the ability to set policy and direction, and the manager doesn't act independent of the council. The manager acts pursuant to the direction of the council. And that's what our intent was here. And if there's language that's troubling, like the language of ceremonial head, which we changed, tell us how you want to change it and we'll review it, and we may be able to make some modifications.
Well,
There's obviously multiple ways of writing the charter, but you don't want to have a situation where you have employees being called by the elected council members and told how to do their job. That direction needs to go from the council to the manager, and the manager then needs to deal with the employees.
I'm not opposed to tabling this and letting go back and revise some of the language, find out. It's going to be a hard journey. How long was it since we did the last charter review? Would you say since 83 or something? Or
1980. we believe.
something, been a long time. So we shouldn't rush in. We should take time. There's really,
Absolutely.
take our time, make sure we got it right, make sure that, because this isn't just for today, tomorrow, or 2 years from now. This is for the future of the town of Lake Clark Shores, which heaven only knows. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what this state of Florida is doing.
I can tell you, it was certainly not my intent or Joe's intent to diminish
No, I don't.
the powers and responsibility of the council. It was simply to clarify what we understood was already the policy.
Right. But I've known all along, we have, and I don't want this to sound harsh, but we have the power over the manager, period. Even if he's implementing something that we don't like, we can say no. We
Absolutely.
can bring it up here right in the sunshine and say, hey, this has got to change. We want this changed. And they change it, period. End of story.
Yes.
We have all the ability within the town. Our
100%.
job here is to remain observant to the citizens. We represent them, period. We don't represent the town hall employees, the police department, this and that. That's why we've hired Joe.
And,
We went through a long, extensive thing to hire him.
And a good example is the city of West Palm Beach, which has a strong mayor form of government. The mayor can come in independently of the council and make decisions and direct the administrative staff of the city of West Palm Beach. In Lake Clark Shores, it still requires a vote of the majority of the council. So tonight it would require two of you to be voting to make a particular policy issue. When the full council is here, then it requires three of you to make a decision, and no one can act independently. But in the city of West Palm Beach, the mayor has a lot of independent authority.
Sure. And,
And I'm not seeking a strong mayor form of government.
understand.
so let's make a
but-
motion that we table this till,
Yeah.
Is that the best way to do
further
it
to
for-
where we have more time to
Yeah.
review.
Okay.
Review language and make sure that we have language in there that everybody can live. with.
And I will specifically get with the mayor and we'll address her concerns and obviously work
Sure.
in conjunction with the manager because it's not our intent to have you adopt something that you're not comfortable with.
Thank you. And I do applaud the hours and hours of work that must have gone into cleaning this up. So thank you, Charlie.
So there's a motion on the table.
The ta-
Second.
The table.
And there's no discussion on a motion to table after it's seconded.
Okay.
So you
Said-
call for the vote.
Oh, yeah, okay, you said no discussion. Oh, yeah, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, tabled. Discussion on substantive changes to the town charter, including term limits and runoff elections.
All right, the second item we separated in the second silo is items that would take a referendum vote by the residents to change any of these items. We're looking at if anything is needed to be changed, it would be on the March election, and we would need to have this done probably in October. So, and it's obviously 2 ordinance readings, so we probably need to get this done in July if we want to change anything. So we have a lot of months. That's why we said we're going to keep this on the discussion for several months. These are the 2 items that you've mentioned, and I've got some pros and cons. One of the items was the council members' term limits. And term limits right now are 2 years. The majority, over 70% of the 39 cities in Palm Beach County, that's over 70%, have a 3 or 4 year term, while we have a 2-year term. So that's, again, I don't want to get involved in this politics, but that is what we surveyed and that's what we gave the council, and we have the survey attached here. Some of the pros and cons we looked at for this is to lengthen the term limit. You have continuity of institutional knowledge. You have strategic planning on a multi-year projects. You have less elections, so you have less costs and administrative burdens. You have improved the recruiting because you don't have to campaign every 2 years. But on the negative, less frequency of voter input and less intervals before an election is less accountability at the ballot box. So those are the pros and cons. Do you want to just take that one before we talk about the
So
runoff?
just let's be clear, we're not talking about term limits, like you can only serve 2 or 3 terms.
No,
We're just talking about the succession in which you serve in
Right.
your capacity, as we just swore the ladies in tonight.
correct.
So they get their 2 years. So we're not talking they get 2 terms and then they gotta go.
No.
That won't work around here.
No, this is just
A
a
link-
change, the length of term from
Correct.
2 years to a 3 or 4 year term.
Good.
If-
Okay.
So those were the pros and cons that
And
we
these
came
have
up.
to go to a referendum.
100%.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
need to
So that's
pass,
food for thought.
you need to pass another ordinance. That's why I said, let's do it in July. I think that's good, Charlie, because then we have to get it passed, send it over to the elections office, and they got to put it on the ballot for the March election of 2027.
Okay.
So you
So
guys,
what are your thoughts on term limits?
I originally had thought 3 year, but I thought, after talking to other, cities in the area, 4 years seems to be, and I'm okay with either, I think we should lengthen the term more than what we currently have, and I'm okay with either 3 or 4, but 4 would just be easier to transition to. If 3 is the will of the board and the residents, then, I think it allows the council members, whatever position you're in, a length of time to do something, to be more effective in whatever you do.
Sure.
I think it just is, you're getting your feet wet, then you're going up for reelection and you have to go through the campaign process. So, I'm okay with either one, and I've spoken to different cities and, the ones that are 3 years like the 3 years, and the ones that are 4 years just works better on an election cycle. So either one will work for me. I'm okay with either one, but I think we should consider lengthening it. Obviously, whether we put it on a referendum, the residents got to say yes as well.
I would lean more towards 3 years, but I will also say this, we also have time to think about this too. Because there's there's a lot of stuff to think about here, just even for the future. So, and Charlie and I had a discussion and we were talking about that versus the term limits. And all of these things that we're doing right now are for the future,
Absolutely.
so it's gonna, somewhere or another, it's gonna work itself out. We don't know how yet. So, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it tonight, but we can still think about these things we have another 30 days, yes? This is
No.
April.
again, till July.
Yep.
Till
You,
July.
you have several months to discuss these items.
So that, we can write down any questions, we can consult with
Yes.
Charlie.
There's-
we
there's
can
no
do
rush.
More legwork with other municipalities. Because from that position, I mean, 2 years and they haven't made it easier to qualify.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, it was tough.
and it's not just you, it's everybody.
Right.
That's the rules of the road, and that's how they make us do it, which it's, in a way, it's good, because if you really, I feel like every council member that has sat up here has really, there's been a couple here and there, but for the most part, I think the people that are up here really care about the town of Lake Clark Shores and really they want what's best for them in their domain. This is a very small domain that we live in, so it does bring more conversation out. I wish more people would come instead of spreading it all over social media and this and that. There's, misinformation, and so it's a double-edged sword at times, my opinion, but from where I sit, 3 years probably is not a bad idea. Because it does take, Charlie, we had the conversation just yesterday or the day before. It takes a while for you to figure things out. And if you're going to do the job here effectively, you have to get out, not into just our community, but out into the larger community and make relationships. We have the Coalition for the Central Palm Beach County. That's taken a long time to get everything together. That doesn't happen overnight. We've been building that relationship for 15, 20 years now, and we're just now getting to it. If you clip everybody's wings, it makes it harder to do that. So, that's my thought. 4 years is a long time, but
Said the
It
man,
really goes quick.
said the man who's been here 17 years.
Well, listen, I didn't always get unopposed. In the beginning, they ran somebody against me all the time.
Mhm.
Yes, they did. I mean, I've won 4 elections because I care about this place. Fran, you know me, you knock on my door, I'll come to you. Jeff, you call me personally, I'll come to your house. Sophia, I up here, I work for the people in the town of Lake Clark Shores. I want it nice too. I don't want all this nonsense. I don't want all the drama. I want everything to be good and, keep this place as pretty as it is.
Is this your campaign
Because
speech?
it is. That's coming. That's coming.
Sophia wanted to make a comment.
You need to come up here, Sophia. Sorry, dear. But we need to have it on the record. That's okay.
Question, Brenda, when you were questioning other towns, were they the same size as Lake Clark Shores?
Yes.
Or were they like West Palm and? the
No,
bigger-
when we deal with the cities, we deal as part of it with our cities and the like cities are, Lattices are similar equivalent. However, we have the other part of the coalition is Green Acres, Palm Springs, and I don't get to choose
I
the
just-
size, but we're part of the coalition, but yes, and majority of those were 3 years. So there's only a handful that were the 4 years.
That's all I needed to know.
Thank you, Sophia.
Welcome.
I'm of two minds. I certainly, as sitting up here, I do realize that it takes a while to get going and to make the relationships that you need, to make the contacts, to just learn how government works. So on the other hand, I don't want the residents to think that we are trying to vote ourselves, longer terms. So I would love to hear from more people at more residents at future meetings. I will say, I was with the supervisor of elections today at lunch. And I only recently learned we have to pay for municipal elections here. And I said, I thought my tax dollars paid for that. And she said, your tax dollars pay for the federal elections and the state elections. She said, I'm not even required to hold municipal elections for you, but I do. And then I bill the town. So the town ends up paying $20,000-$30,000 each time we do one of these elections. So this would be a way of extending institutional knowledge up on the dais, as well as saving the town money. So I don't want anybody watching us or hearing us to think that we're trying to grab onto more power. And I would love to hear from others. Fran.
This is the one that I wanted to talk about. And Sophia, outside on the table, there's this little thing, it's 2 pages, and this has what you're looking for. Sorry, Madam Mayor. I added up the 3 years and the 4 years and the 2 years, and including Lake Clark Shores, there's 11 that have 2 years. There's only 6 that have 4 years, and the other 20 are 3 years. And I think 3 years is good. That gives you the first year to learn and 2 years to really do damage or do good, whichever. Well, it could
You're
be
right,
whichever.
You're right.
And then it gives the residents a chance to see whether we want to give you another 3 years to do whatever you have done. the
Fran, you
good of
know
the
as well
day.
as I do, and when I first was elected, one of my English teachers from Cardinal Newman called me up and said, Greg, would you come over? We want to talk to you. I said, yes, of course I will. And I went over there and she said, listen, just because the people in Lake Clark Shores don't come to all those meetings, don't think they're not paying attention. When you're doing something you're not supposed to be, they'll be here. And
They'll
they
know
are.
it.
And
Oh, yeah, we show up,
I
don't
wish
we?
they'd be here more, really. I mean, I never wanted this. I would always love to have the people come in here because like in front of the ethics lady, I have nothing to hide. We have nothing to hide. We're here, actually, all of us working hard for this place and,
Well, yeah, because
so-
in Lake Clark Shores, we're all watching you.
That's right. That's why you're here. And listen, there's.
But
nothing-
anyway,
there's nothing wrong with that,
my
Fran.
thought is that 3 years would be good.
Okay,
And that's
take
kind
that
of
under
where I
advisement.
think you were too. And apparently the majority of the cities that are close to our size and even the ones that aren't our size, the majority of them go for the 3 years.
That's correct.
And while this is totally off this subject, but while we're talking about it, are you guys going to do anything about getting us the 5th council member ever?
Do what?
We have an
the-
empty.
the empty seat.
Council member.
We'll cover that in a little bit too.
I don't want to stay all night.
Well, not tonight. We have enough on tonight,
It-
but this is our opportunity to talk to three of us right here in front of everybody.
I have a question for Joe.
Sure.
It seems that the consensus is leaning towards 3, but if we did it every 4 years and we did it on the same cycle as the federal elections, would we still be charged? Because we're already
Yes.
holding election anyway.
Yes, you still charge.
Okay. I was looking for a loophole.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. But no, still charge. All right, let me, again, we'll talk about that next month again, but let's talk about runoffs, if I may, Mayor. Is that
Yes.
good? So we put some pros and cons on that. Right now, if there's 3 or more candidates, and if someone doesn't get 50% of the vote, the top 2 candidates run again in 2 weeks, and whoever wins that election wins. So if one person gets 49% of the vote and the other 2 get 26 and 25%, which adds up to 100, that 49% does not win. Now, unfortunately, if there's somebody who gets 40 and 30 and 30, that person would win if we do away with runoffs. Why staff is actually recommending this is runoffs to get rid of them. If elections, as the mayor said, are very expensive and they're going up they're exponentially going up. It's very expensive to run elections. So we're looking at recommending this. Also, when you just had an election and then you ask for having a runoff 2 weeks after that, the voter participation is very minimal usually. I heard Greg's wasn't when he had a runoff, but on a usual basis, it's usually very light. So what are the positives? And obviously the positives, cost savings, voter participation on the second would be not good. Administrative time, timing of results. On the negative, if you don't have runoffs, the person who might win might not actually receive the majority of the vote. So that's the big negative. So what are other cities doing? Other cities like Green Acres, the highest person, it's called Plurality. I can't say that word. What is it? Plurality. Yes. The highest voter gets the office. So if somebody gets if there's 3 or more candidates, whoever gets the highest number of votes wins. What they do, if the really remote case, if there is a tie, which is really stupid, but again, Charlie, how many ties have you seen? I've never seen a tie.
I've seen it one time.
Just so you know, state statute says if you have less than 0.5% win, you have to go to a recount. So that's state statute. But after the recount, if there's still a tie, Green Acres says, let's do a coin toss, which is silly. But again, I've never seen it. Charlie, one time. Okay. It's very uncommon, very remote. Wellington does an unusual thing where it says they require that at least somebody gets 35%. So if you have 5 candidates and one person gets 21% and the others get 19, and everything lower and it adds up to 100, somebody has to have 35%. So they still have the potential of having a runoff, but they have less of a potential because somebody could get 35% a lot easier than 50%. So that is an option for you all. So obviously we're recommending just to go with Green Acres. I hate but of course you guys discuss it and you got time. This again is till July. I know it's stupid.
This is what they call
Short straws.
Yeah. This is a high class problem to have.
Yes.
We'd be blessed to have that many people seeking to serve.
Right. So
We do have a good voter turnout. We have a higher percentage turnout at least when I was the election member in this town than most towns.
we do. It's the second. Usually when you have a runoff 2 weeks after an election, again, except for Greg, yeah, that's the only runoff that we know about. It's usually the turnout is not as good.
No, but I'm talking about the
Primary.
Yeah, the primary, no, it's very good. It's very good. You're right, Fran, very well. So does any discussion on that?
To me, it seems like so remote, that I would only have a referendum if there were other things to vote on at the same time, like term lengths or something else.
What now?
The runoff elections seems like such a remote occurrence
Yeah.
that if
yeah.
I would not spend the money to hold a referendum just for that one item, and unless there were other items also to be considered.
There will not be anything because nothing can be scheduled those 2 weeks. It will only be you all, just like North Palm just went through it. And they just had a runoff so that somebody didn't get 50% and they had to run an election just for North Palm Beach and someone
The
won.
runoff election costs just as much as the regular
It,
election.
actually, it costs more
I was gonna say.
because you're actually not sharing the cost amongst the other cities. So it actually costs, my understanding, again, I'm not an expert, but my understanding, it costs more.
But does it save us a little bit if we do it during the election or during presidential or midterm elections?
We don't have a choice. This county requires us to do it in March because the November ballot is so large. They don't want us, they don't want municipalities to be on it.
Ah, okay.
So right now, we don't have a choice.
So would we say we sit on this one too and let's think about it? Let's meet with Charlie. Let's meet with Joe. Let's see. Want to say something, Fran?
One more comment.
We love hearing from you, Fran. Thank you.
It just, that twin cost or the drawing of lots just seems to me ridiculous. I think that maybe the 35% threshold that Wellington uses makes more sense because I think anybody who's won an election here has gotten 35% of the vote. I mean, usually we don't even have the candidates to worry about. But I think if you did something like the threshold of 35% or greater, then I think that you would not have runoffs, is my personal opinion, because I don't think in the, whatever, 35 years that I was the clerk here, that we ever had anything that was that close, even when we had a runoff. I think whoever was the winner had more than 35% of the votes.
I concur. It's kind of way it was.
We
to me.
appreciate that historical perspective. Yes.
That actually makes more sense than flipping a coin. I had this conversation with him.
Well, flipping a coin again is the only in that very remote case where there's 50% and 50%. So it's just.
I understand.
Such a tough choice.
Right.
Dan.
I like to flip the coin.
I know you do.
Easy
Doesn't cost
to say,
anything.
Joe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Charlie, do I need to make a motion to table this for right now too?
No, it's not, this is just discussion item.
Just discussion.
Okay,
Yeah, this is for you all to learn more and talk to your constituents and
sure.
ask us questions.
And
Again,
this is our opportunity to talk in the sunshine.
correct. So
Has everybody said all they want to say on that?
Yes,
Topic?
ma'am. Yes.
Yes. You good? Okay. New business, discussion regarding the Basics Act.
thank you. One of the things Bridget brought back was something about initiative in Congress about the Basic Act, they're calling it. The Basic Act is really a request for the legislature, Congress, to pass a law that cuts the red tape and actually does two things. It wants to cut the red tape and also change the formula because most roads and infrastructure are actually funded by local governments, but most of the fundings go to federal or state agencies. So they want to change the formula and they want to cut the red tape. So that's what this Basic Act is requesting. It's just a letter of support telling our Congresswoman Lois Frankel saying that we'd like to support this initiative. It's supposed to be nonpartisan and
Bipartisan.
bipartisan is the word?
It's bipartisan.
Bipartisan, thank you. It's supposed to be bipartisan and it's something that makes sense. So we as staff don't have a problem with supporting it. So, but it's up to you all.
Could you clarify again, like, how would this have affected us with the 200,000 that we spent on Pine Tree?
The 200,000? You mean the
Talk about the bridge.
Repaving Pine Tree Lane.
Oh, okay. Again, it's trying to open up ways for us to say we have a bridge project here. We don't want to, yes, we want to go to the state legislature, but we also want to go to the federal government directly and say, because right now you go through your elected official, which is the congresswoman, but they might be on a grant basis. I actually don't know how the format, and they don't know. They're just saying the formula is not good, and right now there's a lot of red tape. So those are the two things.
So,
Maybe Bridget.
so the whole idea is basically what he started the whole conversation with, is that they want to try to streamline the financing. So you don't have to go through the state and through the processes, that will go directly to the municipalities for whatever project they're requesting, if you're approved for the project that you put in for. So it just, it's just a support for this basic act, and Congresswoman Frankel supports it. It's supported on both sides of the aisle. It just allows communities the ability to complete their projects without having to go through the red tape of the grant and the other processes. So they're actually, for once, trying to make it easier for the smaller communities to get things done. And it's just a letter of support for the legislation. Doesn't mean anything other than we're supporting it. There's a lot of the cities around here are also supporting it, but it's also being supported nationwide. Because as we know, we have a lot of failing infrastructure with bridges and streets and railways, and it's all part of that collaboration.
Do you know how many co-sponsors the bill has?
I do not.
I don't think that it even has a bill yet. I think it's just.
Oh,
a-
What is
HR.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an initiative.
7437 is.
Oh, is that's a bill? Okay. I don't know.
Joe, from the guy who counts all the money,
Yes.
do you see this as a benefit, or do you see this as, I mean, I can't see where it's not a benefit, but teach me.
I like the point of the formula needs to change, because a lot of the money goes directly to the state and to the federal government, and it doesn't trickle down to the local governments. So I think that has to be supported, and also emphasized that local government is not getting as much funding as they should. That's the part I like.
Is there a downside? I mean, it can't be really a downside to supporting it.
Yeah, some people might say it's political, but again,
Some people might say what?
it's political, because it was sponsored by a D or an R, but I don't see what we're writing here as political.
Got to get over that kind of stuff, or else
Right.
nothing's going to happen.
Right.
Just what Mayor said, then.
And Congresswoman Frankel supports it. I had a conversation with her, so we're not going it blindly, and she's very supportive of it. She's been supportive of it long before I even was aware of it, because when I came in her office, she said, "Oh, I'm aware of it. I support it." So I didn't.
That's making it a D or an R. If it's bipartisan, then it's not.
Oh, we have to go through our Congress, our people that represent us. But I've spoken to our senators who are the Senator Scott and Moody and their legislative age, and they also support it. So it's on both sides.
That's
Yes.
The senators do support it?
Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
to know.
Oh, well,
Okay,
that's-
that's important.
That's
That's good information.
That's good information, because I
Very-
didn't have that.
Buried the lead. So I know. 100%.
Yeah.
I think in your
We can add that.
You said that you could possibly consider the senators, and I was going to make a suggestion to do so as well. So to cover, they are definitely supportive. Same conversation
Oh,
I
that's-
started doing. We were very supportive.
That's-
They almost feel the same way we do, that enough monies are not getting to the local governments, that they're not trickling down. They go into the state organizations, and then obviously they're funneling it. We're not getting what we really asked for.
That's useful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have a motion?
Do you want to make the motion? You did the legwork here.
I make a motion to consider formal support of the Basic Act HR 7437 that authorizes the mayor to execute and transmit a letter of support to the town's federal legislative delegation, which includes
I'll
both sides of
second.
the aisle.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, status reports. Joe, do you want to go first?
Of course, thank you. Our next two meetings are May 12th and June 9th, our regular second Tuesday. Tomorrow is going to be our Footprints Senior Club right here in the chambers. We have a session on dementia and Alzheimer's, so I think it's pretty
You
interesting.
said tomorrow, but it's not.
It is actually, that's a typo. Sorry about that.
oh.
It's always the third Wednesday. It's it's supposed to be the 15th. Thanks for pointing that out. but
it is
we
tomorrow.
did change it on the website. This
Okay.
just on your copy.
So
It's
it is
wrong.
tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. We do have a next Saturday, the 25th. This is a really good event. And if you want to just give us 2 hours, anybody out there listening, show up to the boat ramp on the 25th from 8 to 12. And again, you can come at 10, you can come anytime. And we send out crews to clean up our town. And we actually ask boats to come also to clean up our lakes. So it's a pretty cool event where we send out people to our parks, to our commercial districts, and clean up the town. It's a national Great American Cleanup. So I think it's a great event. Bridget asked us to do a there.
Because my entire irrigation system is in the back of that lake.
Okay,
So
I will.
appreciate-
I will note that. Thank you. Thank you, Sophia. Bridget asked us to look into this and we totally agreed. There was actually unfortunately another accident in Wellington area with a scooter. So we're looking at doing an e-bike safety golf cart scooter workshop and going to be presented by the chief. I think it's important please share that out with the community for the parents and for children to show up to this because we need to educate everybody, not only the public, not only the parents, but the kids, how dangerous these e-bikes are and these scooters are. Accidents are occurring all over the country and God forbid, I don't want to see anything here in our town. So please show up to this. It's going to be at 5:30 and thank you, Chief, for doing that. I think it's important. On a fun note, we have a food truck event on May 29th. I call it the School's Out by Alex Cooper. We're going to have, some people know who that School's Out. Ben won't know what I'm talking about right now.
I think we all.
Yeah, School's Out. So come out. We usually have a water event with some kind of great rides and food truck event. It's a great event. The next item, we try to list out all the appropriations because it gets confusing. So I laid it all out, and obviously, this goes on the website so everybody can read it. But right now, in January, we submitted a water and a sewer infrastructure funding for the state legislature. As you know, they have not passed the budget, so we don't know where that's at. Please do your job and pass the budget. Secondly, in March, as Bridget has explained, we went with Lois Frankel's request with a community project funding where she asked us to put in $1 million request and she would fund it. I mean, not fund it. She would recommend it. And this is going to be, she already called us and her office called us that said she liked our application and she's going to request it as one of her projects for $1 million for phase 2. This is Fran by your house we talked about for a partial of phase 2. That's the second project. The third thing is, as we talked about the meeting with the EPA on learning how we can request funding through them. This is on a federal level. We're even looking at funding for design funding for phase 3 to 5. Again, it's just scratching the surface, but we've had some meetings with them. We've had a lot of emails and given information back and forth. So it's going well. I'm going to skip because there's another one which I created its own thing. Pedestrian safety and connectivity of sidewalks. Well, my philosophy on grants has always been if there's a consensus here amongst the council to support something, we should try to go for the money, even though all the details have not been worked out. We did have a. Can you put that chart up? Okay.
It flipped.
Oh, it does work. Sorry, yours didn't work, Chief. Okay. All right. So this is, again, a very rough draft of sidewalks proposed around town on Westlake, Pine Tree, and obviously some going right to Florida Mango. We actually met and Bridget was there. We had a virtual meeting with the MPO. If somebody don't know what the MPO, that's very confusing. So let me just take a minute what the MPO is. When you have a large metropolitan area as Palm Beach County, the federal government requires you to have this MPO, which is a metropolitan planning organization. It's locally controlled, so our elected officials are on there, but it's required by the federal government if you want federal funding to have this local board to distribute or recommend funds. So we've talked to them, and what they do is they give out money to the state, which is the FDOT, which is the Florida Department of Transportation. They give money out to the county, and they give out money to local governments. But you have to get a recommendation letter from this board, which is the MPO. So we met with staff, and they said they liked our project of connectivity of sidewalks through our major streets, not all of our streets, but our major streets. So we'd like to start the process. Again, it's going to be a long process where we even need a charrette, a workshop. Doesn't have to be this format, and they don't even recommend this format. They recommend a tabletop practice where you get information from all the residents. Do we do sidewalks on both sides of the streets? Where do we put the sidewalks? All of those answers will be decided on later. But the first thing is to say, do you think you're interested in this kind of project? So if there's a consensus to do that, and I don't need an answer tonight, but then we would start the process. And it takes years to get these monies, but the great things about it is there's not a lot of matching funds needed. They are mostly funded, except for soft costs. Like soft costs are engineering, landscaping. If we have to do anything to the swales, they probably won't cover that. But most of the sidewalk, the hard costs are covered by these kind of grants when they're supported by the MPO. So I am just want to see what your comments are, but this is something that staff likes, but we want to get your input and see if you guys are on board to start the process. Again, the thing about grants are, we don't sign anything until the end. So you can always say no, right, Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
You can always say no all the way to the end, because I've been involved in one of these where at the very end, we didn't accept the grant for some reason. But at least you start the process, but at least you should know, or do you want to start something like this that would have connectivity into our town, into the surrounding areas of sidewalks? And for public safety, to me, sidewalks are a big deal in public safety. Okay, they like the 3-phase, and I can go over that. The green area obviously is Pine Tree. And then Westlake is that light blue. And then the dark blues are going from Arabian, which is near your house, Fran. That one is, can you read that? Is that Clark? Barbados? Okay. And Corandis. And that where our community park is, right there. And they all go to Florida Mango. So yes, please go south.
And part of the Palm Beach County plan for Florida Mango is including a sidewalk all the way
yes,
to Summit to connect to the zoo, correct?
Yes. Anytime they do, the county does major construction, they always put sidewalks in because of public safety. So it's.
Did you also want to add that about putting in for more than one at a time, because they
a lot of
indicated.
people don't deny them at the end for some reason.
Yeah.
So you let's say we do this in 3 phases. You might get 2 phases at once. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. But again, we're in the first inning of this. So this is very preliminary, but just want to see if there's a consensus. And again, I don't need it tonight. Just want to introduce it. Talk to your constituents to see if this is something we want to recommend, and it goes on their MPO long-range transportation plan. And they write a recommendation letter, and then it starts the process. It needs community support. It needs chamber support. It needs all these kind of things that we will do.
I'm very enthusiastic. I think, first off, I commend Bridget for even learning about this in your travels. And I think anybody who's ever taken a walk or walked a dog on Pine Tree or Westlake has had to jump onto the grass on more than one occasion to avoid an oncoming car. So I would be very enthusiastic about investigating, moving forward on this.
Now, obviously, like Joe indicated, that we would have community involvement, there'd be a tabletop. So this is just the foundation to move forward. Community input would determine whether we want to move forward and how we would move forward. So this, like Joe said, it could take up to years to get it, and we can always say no at the end. But the fact that we've got this door open, I would like to see that we take advantage of it.
Good. Greg?
Greg, you have
Greg?
I'm sorry. I was
Did,
thinking of a question I have for you on something here.
okay.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Do you want to support this or at
Yeah,
the very initial
But
phase? Okay.
thinking,
Because
who's gonna want it on their side?
I will take it. If-
again, that's
Put it on-
Careful.
You can-
Well, you just qualified.
that,
You can put it on my side.
okay. I think I got a consensus to move forward. So, so let me go back to the other items. I reached out to the South Water Management District because we had a homeless encampment on their property, and they were kind enough to sign an affidavit, work with our police department. We removed the camp. We're cleaning up the area. So just so let you know, that was on the south side of Forest Hill on the sound wall. We have changed from GoToWebinar to Zoom. What it does is basically twofold. It makes it a lot easier for everyone to participate in a meeting. It's two ways to do it. Now, the easier way, in my opinion, is you just go to YouTube and you can watch the meeting anytime you want. You don't have to register. Right now, you have to register and all that. You don't have to register. You just go to our channel, which is the Town of Lake Clark Shore, LCS. Thank you. It's not the Town of Lake Clark Shore, it's LCS. And you can look at and watch any meeting part. You can watch part of it. You can watch all of it anytime. And it's basically only minutes delayed from the actual meeting. You don't have to sign up for anything. But then if you want to participate in a meeting, you can contact staff and you can actually sign up for a Zoom, and we'll have you in the meeting so you can ask questions. So it's less costly. I've worked with Zoom before. It's very efficient. Staff likes it. So we're going to continue on it. So let us know if you hear anything negative or positive about it. But we're going forward with this. The other items are, I'm still negotiating a contract with the police union. We're still looking for taglines out there. If anybody knows of taglines, please look at our website. The fishing tournament was rescheduled to fall. We met with FP&L to see if I'm very familiar with their streetlight programs, but to see if there's anything new. So if anybody has any questions, obviously let me know, but they have a lot of options out there some are costly, some are not, but they will be happy to sell us some lights that if we'd like them. We're finishing up our audit. We should have our auditors here next month. We're scheduling them. We hopefully will have that done. And we got the new spring edition of the Shoreline. Please read it. It talks about the Central County Alliance. We're calling it that right now, but we're still looking for names. But I think there's some interesting articles in the Shoreline. So please take a look at it. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Chief England?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First, congratulations, Mayor and Vice Mayor. Before I start, I do like to mention that I think the fire chief was being a little coy. I think he's very well polished and presents very well and really doesn't follow anybody except maybe chronologically. But we do have a very good working relationship, and I appreciate that. So attached to the agenda, as usual, is the chief's monthly report for the month of March 2026. As you can see, the police department responded to 82 calls for service. And there were other various statistics there that we typically report on every month. Noteworthy, three things I would like to mention. Back in the third quarter of 2025, the police department of the town did receive many complaints regarding vegetative waste that was left out by the street. So we intended to do a educational campaign in the fourth quarter of 2025, which I think was very successful. We put a lot of information out to the community, both digital media, handouts, signs or whatnot, educating them on the ordinance that exists regarding the placement of vegetative waste for collection. There were no citations or anything issued. It was just grace period. So everybody understood that there is a rule in place and what that rule was. So in the first quarter of this year, I wanted to just provide some statistics. We did receive 102 complaints and issued warnings for vegetation, and we issued 2 citations to individuals who were repeat offenders. It should be noted also that anytime we get a violation or a complaint that results in a violation, everybody's given a warning the first time. Nobody receives a citation the very first time, because the intention is truly voluntary compliance to what otherwise is your ordinance. So I just wanted to share those statistics with you because I'm sure there's going to be some conversation following. Second thing, I'd like to just recognize the Village of Palm Springs. Last month, we had some issues regarding our connectivity with our computers, the police car computers that the officers utilize for dispatching, self-dispatching, completing their reports or whatnot. They were very receptive. In fact, they put a work group together, including their chief of police, their IS director, their finance director, their communications supervisor, myself and Lieutenant Fisher went. We had some very good conversations. They were able to address and get the system back up and running. So the officers are out there doing their jobs as efficiently as possible. And we also talked about different mechanisms that we can use to communicate back and forth when issues do come up. So they put a lot of work into that, and I just want to recognize them and express our appreciation. The last thing I want to do is recognize an individual by the name of Nicole Lunsford. Ms. Lunsford is the property and evidence technician for the Jupiter Police Department. She, at the later part of last year and through the first couple months of this year, helped us with a 100% audit of the property and evidence room here at the Lake Clark Shores Police Department. We identified a lot of property and evidence that was no longer required to be retained by Florida statute. So we were able to get rid of a lot of old evidence or found property or whatnot. And she's helping build processes in place built on a new policy that we're going to create regarding how we take property in, how we catalog it, how we book it, how we transfer it to whether it's the state attorney's office or a crime lab or another police department. We're improving our policies and our practices because the property and evidence section is really a vital part of the police department, because if you mess up one piece of evidence, the court will throw out every piece of evidence that you have, which could really affect the credibility of a law enforcement agency. So Ms. Lunsford put in well over 40 hours over the last couple months here doing work, getting our hands dirty, and educating Mr. Rich Wagon, who is our property and evidence technician. So I'd just like to thank Ms. Lunsford and the Jupiter Police Department for their assistance.
We're going to write a letter with all your signatures because it is a big deal for that kind of support. So thank you, Chief.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So if there are any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about the debris.
Talk about the
A resident here has waited for a long time. This policy that you're talking about right here does not coincide with what is on the website. The website says starting January 1st, there's 0 tolerance. My phone has been exploding. You didn't call me, but I figured you might show up. I have just done a ride around just from I come in Westlake, go down around Pine Tree. Not even going down the side streets. For 3 weeks in a row, there's over 50 piles. They start the same day or after they've been picked up. This is frustrating people, Joe. And when they get on there and they see that, I don't know about you ladies, but my phone has been ringing off the hook. Now, I agree with you, and I did vote to move it to a Sunday because I'm willing to try new things to try to keep the overall people happy. That's not going to work either. It's just, it's not a matter of that, because there are other people that want to see the proper language. They don't want to take the tack that they're not going to pay, because that stuff gets attached to you and it's not worth your aggravation. I'm here to fix that. I don't know about Thursday, but I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is reasonable. But these piles, there was one right on the side of her house. Now, it's not easy to go into that website to find out who's being, reported. And it seems to the people that have called me is that they're being asked to tell on their neighbors if they're putting it out. That's not going to work either, because who's going to do that? I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to report somebody else who doesn't do it. That's what we have code enforcement for. So I'm respectfully asking, take that off the website if they don't want to enforce it. And here we are almost, what are we, did it 2 months, November, December, that's 2, we're in the fourth, that's 6 months. The message isn't getting out, Joe. So we need to fix that because they're just upset over that. And you know it says 0 tolerance on there. It does on the website because they tell me and I tell them, well, go look on there. You can report this. They don't want to be telling on their neighbors. So it is contentious. I understand. There's people out there. I sent you this because they sent it to me and I don't do social media or any of that kind of stuff. But there, the sky is falling now. Well, it's always been that the landscapers are supposed to remove the debris. That's always been there. That's not been enforced. That affects the council members because they look at us like, what are you doing? So if they're not going to enforce it, we need to fix it or we need to enforce it, one or the other. So if it's going to still continue to be an educational thing, which I don't agree with,
It's not. We're into.
we need to cite them because that's 150 in 3 weeks. And they started out, and there's one out there right now that's so large they didn't have the capacity or whatever. I don't call them because I'm not a code enforcement officer. I don't do that, but I am a council member and I field these calls and I'm getting the wrath and the frustration. So I want to make a motion that we switch the language in the ordinance back to you can put and you can debate Thursday or Friday, but at least Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that they can put their lawn vegetation out as the residents. And then we can discuss whether you want to move it to a Thursday too, or whatever. It still should be that the landscapers remove that. How I handle it with mine is I give them the garbage cans and tell them when they're full, you're done. Don't leave it. And that, I don't want it just because it's unsightly. I don't want it because I don't want it killing my grass. It's not supposed to be in the road. They're in the road all over the place. And that's true too. I mean, several complaints against her neighbor that she's, dealing with is scratching their cars. It's doing this. I got at least 10 phone calls on that one. Well, the warning is better than having to pay. I will agree with that, but
Mango tree that was over my garage and he blocked the fire hydrant, which everybody was coming to me, asking me to turn it. I'm not. Did he get in trouble for that? No. And I know several people.
well, there's only been 102 notices and 2 were given code violations. So I just,
Right.
well, it says, right, I'm just going by what your report says.
Right.
It says there are 2 code violations were issued for that. Was it early or was it in the road or what was it?
Could be.
I would have to look into specific situations, but this is for the first quarter of this year,
Right.
102.
Right.
They're all individual. None of them are repeat violations. I can tell you a couple of weeks ago, I did receive a phone call from Mr. Lobello on Monday that there were a significant amount of piles out there. And Mr. Richwagon had already been out there the Saturday before, and he actually had opened 30 different cases. So that those numbers will be captured next month in the month of April. So it's actually more than that. You hit on several different topics here. Yes, we have seen landscapers who are not removing the vegetation when they trim it, and that's the responsibility of the homeowner. So when we see those situations, we are communicating with the homeowner, explaining the ordinance and citing them accordingly.
You know what'll fix that? Issuing a violation, not a warning. They'll give what you're willing to take, unfortunately. This has been a contentious thing for quite some time. This just didn't start. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just telling you the phone calls I get.
Right, I understand that. And the last thing I wanted to.
Building and building in their building. So we'll look to see what the things are next time. Because I told everybody I want to talk, come to the meeting, talk to council. I'm one person, but that's where we land. So there's a motion on the table
Motion on the table.
to change the code back to it got changed to they can put it out Sunday and then it needs to be there before 7, something like that. That's what I read on the website, I believe. So what I want to do is I just want to change the code back, Charlie, to go that they can put it out on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I mean,
right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We can discuss a Thursday too, if they want.
What day is collection?
It's Monday.
Monday,
Right now it's Monday, but that
Okay,
can change.
Monday morning.
Because right now the code says all bulk
24
and
hours.
vegetative waste, which is what we're talking about, shall be placed for collection in the swale at the paved edge of the right of way no earlier than 24 hours prior to collection
24 hours.
and no later than 7 a.m. on the scheduled collection day.
And that's not working. It's, we had this discussion.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be a homeowner who does that, and if you're gonna cut down a tree, there's nothing wrong with that. If you cut it down, you pile it properly, they pick it up, there's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't happen on a Sunday, you know what I mean?
Again, I did it, files to the slide, and I was thinking after a big rain, rest file, wait a time. I called you guys everything in the book, I was doing it. And I said, screw it, I'm gonna do it my way, you write me up all you want. I'm not paying on dying in that house, good luck with it. Period.
I understand. We've already had something like that, so they will collect, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but it won't be you. I understand. So
Are you saying that it used to be?
it used to be
Be-
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
It was 3 days.
and we changed it to Sunday, which I voted for too. I'll be the first one to say that.
It certainly
Yes,
may have
I'm,
been.
well, she's the mayor. Talk to her.
I just have a quick question for the chief and then I'll recognize Fran. Of the 80 that are remaining in violation, for code, is almost all of those concerning yard waste?
No. There's only been warnings, 62.
I would say most likely not. If you're getting into individual statistics, I'd have to look up each individual case. But most of the ones that are listed as warnings are opened, documented, the public is educated, and then they're immediately closed. So they wouldn't necessarily be remaining, except for the specific day of this report that it's ran. The other thing I did want to add was there were several occasions last month that solid waste did not pick up the vegetation waste on their collection day.
And
So that's why there were a lot. And then I believe either Mr. Labello or Miss Emily reached out to solid waste and they came the following day. So we did notice a significant amount of
I
vegetation
passed that
on
along.
a couple different weeks because of lack of collection. And we obviously did not cite the homeowner on that. That's not their responsibility. That's solid waste. But solid waste did come out
Yeah,
the next
They're
day and
good,
collect.
good about it.
Yeah.
I think they run out of capacity.
Fran?
There are some people that put a lot of vegetated waste out.
Yeah.
So I just want to clarify that also.
I'm going to beg you all to go to at least the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If I'm doing something in my yard with my body, by the time I've done a few hours in the yard, it's killing me. There's no way that I could. And first of all, Sunday, I'm at church for half the day. So I only have half a day on Sunday that I could be doing anything. But if I'm working in my yard and I trim some stuff, I'm going to be lucky if I can get it from where I trimmed it to the street the same day, which means I'm going to have to haul it down another day. And it would probably take me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon to get whatever I have cut on a Thursday or a Wednesday down to the curb. If you make me do it just on Sunday, you're going to kill me, and then you're going to have the fire chief come and take me to the hospital in his ambulance because I'm not going to be able to move. You're going to find me laying on the curb next to my vegetation.
Oh, good thing we have quick response times.
I'm just encouraging you to please go back to the 3 days because it's too much for residents that are doing their own thing. I understand when somebody else comes and they trim all your stuff and they pile up there because it is my responsibility to tell them you have to take.
I think if there's a very large pile, it probably came from a landscaper and not from a homeowner.
Yes,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
If somebody that's stronger and healthier.
You want,
probably
want,
do a big pile.
just put it on the agenda. They can't make a motion.
I think it's important to
Well, they
make sure the
can-
landscapers
They can make a motion.
do what they're supposed to
Right.
do.
so put it on-
Oh, did you hear that, Chief? Did you hear that?
So
The mayor just said it's important to make sure the landscapers do what they're supposed to do.
We can't do that because we can't force the landscapers. We can only force the teeth is in with, you can force the residents,
Well,
not,
that's how you get to them.
right,
Yeah,
It's through the residents.
yeah,
Correct.
the resident has to
right.
tell.
Just so you know, we talked about that a lot.
Well, You're never
where
going to cite the
Well,
landscaper. of
to-
course not.
To put,
Pardon me?
it-
Yes, mine too.
it's.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah, no, I hear you. I still work in my yard. Fran, my rule of thumb is when the three
Is this gonna
garbage
work?
cans are full, I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
So
To ask us
how
to
do we-
bring it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're on wheels too, by the way.
So I'd like to second the motion.
Well,
but I
let's-
also want to get some clarification from
yeah, the-
people about how this needs to be done.
The motion can't be to change the ordinance. It can, the motion should be to have staff bring back an ordinance
Okay, I'll
for
amend it.
consideration
All right.
by the council.
And I
But-
would
Because it'll
ask that,
require first and second reading.
Okay.
I would ask that bulk sofas and mattresses not go out till Sunday. We don't want to see sofas and mattresses
Yeah.
for 3 days.
Yeah, I can live with that.
But I don't know how we,
I don't know, you can do-
how we can get the landscapers to be hauling away. I know my landscaper hauls everything away.
Well, because once you start citing the residents who they're
homeowner.
doing
Yes.
that in, they'll get on them in a quick hurry. What's the first citation? $200 or something?
125.
125 for the first, 250.
Yes,
for-
we've had
Okay,
different,
so
different
still
landscapers.
$125. I don't want to pay
Yeah.
$125 after I paid them to do all that. So.
Some landscapers are more diligent and they know it, and then some try to skirt the issue with the resident by saying, hey, we do it for cheaper and we'll just leave, we're not taking away. So, and the residents should know better, and so, and unfortunately, some of them are actually residents who are landscapers.
We have many resident landscapers.
I know, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's back to what we just said, the only way we can get them is we have to violate the resident and they need to get with their landscaper or just educate the resident to their landscaper that they are responsible, and then if they don't do it, then it will come back on the resident.
In those situations, that's exactly what we do. We explain the ordinance to the homeowner, then it's their responsibility to talk to their landscaper. What I can tell you, just anecdotally speaking, is this year, I've seen more landscapers with those big machines that grind up
we ever
the
see.
limbs and the fronds, palm fronds,
Yes.
that throw them into the bucket trucks to take them away. Didn't see as many of them last year, so the word is getting out.
Sure.
I
That's
think there's
good.
just, this is the season where it rains and it grows and a lot of trimmings
Yes.
happening and
Yes.
there's a lot more bulk vegetation.
Sure.
Would-
So I need to amend the motion to have staff bring to council revised
Language.
bulk garbage pickup with language, you want the language in there that says no mattresses or furniture before Sunday?
Bulk, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
bulk.
green stuff kind of blends in with the yard.
Okay.
But
But sometimes people put it all together
Yeah,
because it's the same
you'd
day.
be surprised with it. So
So
some
I don't
they
know.
put it out there, they come home and it's not there.
Exactly. So I don't know how to enforce that aspect of it.
So is
Oh.
that sufficient, Charlie, or do I
Yes.
need more?
No, that's
No,
sufficient.
That's good.
And I'm okay with seconding the
And we're okay with the
amendment, the,
make it the
yes,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And
would,
any other-
would we,
That would be
we want to
72 hours.
We would make it hours.
Yeah,
because
72
That can
hours.
change, Greg, just so you know. The date can change, so you make it hours. You always make it hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We'll
what would the
make it
hours be?
72 hours
72 is doable,
and 24 for bulk.
24 for bulk.
Okay.
So would we, friends up here, would we want to ask the chief to be more vigilant in issuing citations on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when if somebody has not followed this, if we've given them 3 days to do it?
I would think yes.
I
would
would
think
say
we
it-
don't, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of people like Jeff out there that say, I don't care. I paid for this. This is what I want done. They put it out there. If it's done in a manner like in the county, you get a 4x4. That's it. And if it's more than that, they tag it and you take care of it.
Oh, I've been cited by West Palm Beach many times.
Well, that's why I'm saying, that's why they're getting more of these
Yeah,
landscapers.
and it costs $175.
You see
It's
that?
$175.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So they're ahead of us on this. So yes, we want to keep the landscaping nice. Who doesn't? But still, there's got to be something that's doable for the residents.
But the hurricane happened on a Monday. And I go out there and clean on a Tuesday. The hurricane goes a lot. You're not doing that Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No, well,
I mean,
a hurricane is It's
In
an
fact,
active,
Natural
We don't
disaster.
want yard waste out during a hurricane.
but you'd be surprised how many put it out before. That's happened. We've had a problem with that. We're not gonna have any hurricanes. Let's not have that talk. Yeah, they're very strict about it as well. Well, I understand, but that's their, we don't have that. And they're still strict about when they can put it out and when they can't, even if it is the town. So, which is good. I'm not trying to upset anybody here. I'm telling you, I got over 100 phone calls about this.
Mm.
And since the last meeting, and it's just been building and building. If you go onto the website right in there, there's everybody's phone number. So,
All right, so a motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
hi,
Aye.
Aye.
good.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Chief, I have a question for you also on your report, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
Traffic stops are down significantly, as are citations.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
because we're short some officers?
Yes, ma'am.
And then also that had to do with the electronic, they're working a case, they had to come back here to do the report because of the software issue you were having. So if you had somebody on the
Correct.
street and you had to come back, now they're off the street for a couple hours.
Correct. So we are short 2 officers on the road and 2 part-time positions that are vacant. So when you have one person on the road, when they receive a call for service, there's nobody else on the road to go out and do proactive law enforcement. Now they will obviously break from that in the teens, like the felony child abuse we had. Corporal Dominguez was on that for several days, and the days he was by himself, he would have to go out for a call for service, come back to the station, work on that case, go out to the call for service, come back to the station. So there's not a lot of proactive time. And then in between the proactive times they do, they usually receive direction from me, from council comments or from comments from the public when people start bringing up such topics as speeding on Pine Tree Trail, running the stop sign at Venetian and all these other things. So that when they're doing directed patrols or work and there's only one person on, there's not a lot of opportunities for proactive law enforcement.
That's unfortunate. Charlie, status report, please.
My report is included in your packet. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I believe it's the last 2 pages of your packet.
Charlie, I have a quick question.
Sure.
Regarding Sophia's, information she put up with us.
Mhm.
How do these things occur? There's several situations, not quite like what she's dealing with, but there's, how it was platted, or how does this occur? How does all this happen?
It's according to the plat. So each of the 2 property owners own a lot, which is identified in the plat. It's easy for any qualified surveyor to go out there and plat that property, but it's not uncommon for property owners to decide that they own more or less property than they have, and if they're aggressive, start encroaching on the neighbor's property. It happens a lot. I actually had to deal with a case for the church that I attend where the property owner moved the iron rod 1 foot onto the church's property and then claimed he owned an additional foot, and we had to have the property resurveyed and determined that somebody had actually moved the monuments because he wanted another foot of property.
Illegal to remove?
Yes, it is.
Illegal, yes.
Yes, it is. But that doesn't
Yeah,
stop
but now
people
it's on
from
the
doing
road,
it.
Sophia.
So what happens is it's a private matter between the 2 property owners, and it requires a resurvey of the property to determine where the appropriate location is. And I will tell you, sometimes surveyors make mistakes.
Sure.
I've actually dealt with a case where there were 3 monuments within a foot of each other at a property corner.
Really?
And obviously 2 of the 3 were wrong because they weren't all in the same location. And it required hiring a surveyor to determine what was actually correct.
And I'm sure the surveyors are required to carry errors and omissions.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
How would we, it's just, this is just coming around more and more, and I'm just curious. It happened at my house. I used the same surveyor to come up with the thing. The guy said, the fence is 6 inches on my property. I said,
Well, it's not my fence. Your surveyor put it in and your guy put it in. I don't move it 6 inches. I don't care.
Yeah.
But that's a true story.
It does happen, unfortunately. And sometimes it's just aggressive people who think they should have more land than they actually have.
Sure. Okay.
All right, council comments, Vice Mayor?
Okay, let's see. Yeah, the fishing tournament will happen. I think the fall is gonna be a better idea, Joe. I think we'll have more ability to get sponsors, not being on the heels of the barbecue, because
Right.
that's the big thing. Let's see. We're working on getting that, because I told you, I don't know if it was today or not, but they canceled that other Memorial
Yes.
tournament too.
Mhm.
You remember that Sunday after that tournament, it was just disaster. So I think we're making good progress here on fixing some things and getting things out in the open. I commend you ladies. We talk out here in the open. It's very important that everybody knows that, hey, we're willing to have these discussions right out here in front of everybody. And what more can they ask for? Right? Okay, with that, I'm done.
I wanted to thank the community and the council the opportunity for serving you as mayor. I also had received a gracious letter from one of our young residents that we're gonna have a follow-up, bring him in. He basically thanked myself for, he asked if he saw me at school, or I don't know where he saw me, but for the parks and what we're doing to make so he can ride his bike and enjoy the community itself. So I thought that he took the time and effort to write this, so we're going to acknowledge him at the next meeting. So I'm sending out a letter to him and his family. There's one other thing I want to say. Just comment, I think we've already talked about the roads and streets. Just a reminder, I know one thing that I love about this community is people take pride in their residents. I asked them to keep that due diligence on the roads, because I'm seeing a lot more people riding, not paying attention from a vehicle standpoint, golf carts, e-bikes. When we walk our dogs, I see people running, fitness and everything else. More and more people are in a hurry to get to the next stop sign, to roll through the next stop sign, and they're not paying attention to human beings. So there's nowhere more important to get to than just down the street. And that, we have family members here. We have fathers, mothers, daughters, grandmothers, and so forth. Just keep an extra eye out. I mean, especially not only in the wee hours of the morning, the wee hours of night, but during the day. Many times I wear very bright colors, and I still get people, like Mayor said, having to jump out of the way. So just take the extra second to pay attention and put down your phones. And I know we all have kids and we have life going on, but there's nothing better than have a safe community. So that's on the water and on the streets. And, I thank our law enforcement, and they're working behind the curveball with the shortages, but I think we're going to get them up to speed, and hopefully we'll get back that community policing that I believe most of the community likes. So I look forward to continue serving as a council member.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just got an email from you, Emily, said to cancel town council meeting. You see that?
Okay, let's go.
Is that a hack? Is that for real?
It's 9:08.
It's
It's 9:08.
I'm like, time to go. You see that?
Thank you, Emily.
Go ahead.
Really?
I apologize.
I guess I don't get any comments tonight. I want to thank the police, especially Officer Tui and Richwagon, for helping out with a downed tree on my property. It came down in the wind. There's extra beyond the scope help, and I thank you. I want to thank former Mayor Bridget Keating for doing a superb job for the last year, for making all sorts of contacts and spending a great deal of time serving the town. And we know that she will continue to do that with or without a title. And lastly, I want to ask the council if they would consider approving an expense for me. I don't want to go to Washington or Tallahassee, but I do go to all the Forum Club meetings, and it's great connections. There are a lot of electeds there. And we're always announced at the beginning of the lunch. And I look at the sign up sheet and I've tried to go around the room and touch base with all the other mayors and town council people that are there. And sometimes folks from Tallahassee are there as well. So I was wondering if you would consider, I think it's $890 that I did for the last year at the Forum Club. And I was wondering if that would be an appropriate.
Joe, we used to be members of the Forum Club, and we, COVID did that in. I mean, could you look into that and see what it would be for the municipality? And, I mean, it may be more under just your personal name. But we may get another break, because that's a networking thing that it worked good for us before, because like you said, there's a lot of movers and shakers and speakers and things like that. Could you get us that information? And
Well, my request is retroactive. It's for the last year, not for the coming year.
what do you mean?
I'd like to be reimbursed for the membership ends, I mean, the lectures end in just 2 or 3 weeks and then start up again in the fall. So my request is for my membership for the prior year. That's just
How
about
to do that, Charlie?
It's a stipend, instead
I
of.
understand.
instead of
That's
the
why I'm
stipend-
asking. Are we
Instead of
allowed
the
to do that?
stipend. I mean, it's the equivalent of Bridget getting money to go to DC is what is how I see
But
it.
no, because that was done as a council member. When you were there on your own accord. Charlie, you got.
No, I'm there as a council member.
I
I'm wearing
understand.
my name
You are
tag,
a
I'm
council-
announced from.
You are a council member.
In front
but
of
you're
700 people, my
doing
name
business.
gets announced.
Joe, what do you think?
I think that's a legal question.
it-
I have an opinion, but it's a legal question.
It can be reimbursed as long as we can establish the, receipts for the cost.
Well, then take that to Joe and have him put it on
yeah.
the agenda and we can discuss it. And I'd like you to look into it to see getting the town of Lake Clark Shores in the Forum Club.
True.
Well, my receipts are $890, if that makes any difference.
Well, yeah, you still have to submit them.
Oh, no, it's minimum.
Yeah.
I'm asking for approval from the council.
Well, we let Charlie
Yeah,
get this.
Bring those
first.
in and
Yeah.
let us look at them and then we can put it on the next
Yeah.
council.
Okay.
meeting.
That's
Thank
the way
you.
to do that.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Amen.
Let it be written, let it be said.
Now you